X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who spit facts online all the time.
Can you see it? All the ones who drag my name every single day. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? They keep saying you don't have what it takes to carve out your own name underneath the shadows of gods. And I keep waiting for the day disbelievers say I flew way too close to the sun. I wait, but it never really comes. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all right shackled minds. Why do they just stand there against when they fall from the battles I have overcome? You feel it, feel the cope and the seething torment they make while I stand up, man among gods. And I keep thinking with my mills, shooting ropes in my cold that faces towards the sun. They hate, but I'm sitting comfy with their mom. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all that shackled mind. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all right shackled minds. It's you and me, your mom, it's me. I'll take another hit from my name. You've seen now, watch me right now, punch your face now. Show you how.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, welcome. It's so good to see all of you. I'm sorry if my voice is a little off. I am still a little bit in the recovery period of being sick. Thank God, not with COVID. Thank God it wasn't COVID. Just a normal, every year, typical flu. And you know what that was to me? A blessing. A genuine blessing. Nothing but a sore throat and a little bit of a stuffed nose and some coughing. Nowhere near as bad as COVID. I feel so much better than I did a couple days ago. Holy crap. I'm sorry for taking so many days off, but it was very needed. I barely had a voice the last few days. Like, I was all kinds of fucked up when it came to my throat. It was sore, dude. I could barely talk. But I am back. And I've got a lot of content ready to make for you guys. A lot of things to talk about. And I want to say, because it's the elephant in the room right now, thank you guys so freaking much for getting me to 100,000 subscribers. 100K. The big 100K. I genuinely cannot believe it, dude. Thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate it. Happy 100K. Thank you. You guys are the ones that made this possible. Your support, your likes, your comments, your subs especially. Just even being nice in chat and complimenting me and keeping the spirits high as we go has played a part in getting us to this milestone, and I really want to thank all of you. Much deserved. Thank you, Eddie Headphones. That's a funny way of spelling it. Happy 101k. Oh, we're actually probably hitting 102k this stream, funnily enough. YouTube, now that I'm in the 6 digits range, no longer tells you my sub count by the 100. Now it tells you by the 1,000. And so my sub count doesn't update until I get another 1,000 subs, but we are currently sitting at 101,941 subscribers. So very likely, during this stream, we will gain the less than 60 subs necessary to tick over to 102k. And I want to say thank you guys so much. Xanderhall, so where's the play button going to hang? Probably right there, on the other side of my door. Right here, because oftentimes my head isn't covering up, you know, that area like it is this area. I thought about putting it here, but instead I put up a picture of my dog, and I think I'm going to hang it right here and have it in the background all the time. But yeah, it's going to take a bit for the play button to arrive, sadly. Unfortunately, it's going to take a bit. YouTube apparently takes like up to 10 days, sometimes more, to review your channel after you hit 100k, and then they might approve you for the play button, and at that point you apply for it, and then God knows how long it takes them to actually send it. But I still haven't gotten the email confirming that I'm eligible. I checked, and I haven't been deemed ineligible, but I've not been deemed eligible yet, so I'm still waiting. YouTube takes their sweet, sweet time when it comes to that play button. Wouldn't it be cool if you got it by Christmas? Honestly, it would be, but there have been cases where YouTubers have hit 1 million subscribers by the time they got their 100k play button. Granted, these are massively fast-growing channels when this happens, but it goes to show it is absolutely a bit of a wait to get your silver play button. I could be wrong, but going from 100k to 102k in such a short time seems to be much faster growth than I've seen in my time here. Let's go. Hell yeah, Noobifier, that's what I'm talking about. That's what we need. That's what we need. A lot of it is the fact that we've had a few videos that went pretty viral the last couple weeks. There was the one that was their friends and family hate them now, which I think is getting close to like 1 million views maybe. It's at like 500k or something, so it might get up to 1 million. Then there's that Elon Twitter one that got like 100,000 views, and then there was another one I uploaded recently that got nearly 100,000 views. So those videos really did well, and a lot of people subbed because of those videos, and now we've gained quite a bit. Yeah, we're popping off. Welcome, everybody. It's so good to see all of you. How you doing, Canada's Joel, Redux, Calum, Not an Enderman, Ride the Rails, good to see you again. Green Moon 2040, how are you? Stalking Fan 15, what's up? How are you? Wingo, good to see you again. Lucid Burgundy, what's up? Myth Detrius 985, how are you? Ninetails Fox 2, what is up? One of my biggest juicer donoers in the stream right now. Everyone shout out to Ninetails Fox, okay? This person is an oiler, all right? They oil the fuck out of the donos, and just massive shout out for that. They haven't donated today, but I feel like they deserve credit for that because they've done it many times. And I feel like that deserves more thanks than just when it happens, you know? You know what I'm saying? Their yellow name. Same to Aliakai. Hello, how you doing? Thank you for your support as well. It's good to see ya. By the way, I talked to Cirrus today, actually, through the BattleNet WoW chat. For those that don't know, 20th anniversary classic WoW servers have been started up that are going to go through the full cycle of like vanilla, then Burning Crusade, then Wrath of the Lich King, and then they're going to reset, basically, like a wipe cycle. And about 7 days ago, was the start of brand new, like 4 brand new vanilla servers that are going to go through that path. Very few servers. They're consolidating that player base, and I think this is a good way to do it because You know, everyone gets what they want, right? If you're excited for Burning Crusade, wait for it, you know? We'll get there eventually. And you get like 3 years to dedicate yourself to like a server, and then it wipes, which I think is totally reasonable. Now, me and some friends, and I've tried to get these friends into WoW multiple times before, but I failed every time. I failed every time to get these friends into WoW. They didn't click with it. This time around, I managed to convince them, but for some reason I was just a lot more hands-off. I just kind of sat back and let them do their thing. I didn't try to teach them the game or anything. I let them make mistakes and figure out things the hard way, and they ended up having far more fun. Who'da thunk it? And so I continue to just be very hands-off, just leveling on my own and watching them screen share and figure the game out on their own, and they have fallen in love with it. Particularly my editor, Ethan, has now fallen in love with Classic WoW, and he is getting everyone in our friend group hooked now. And so once they're all in, we're making a guild, and then I want you guys watching the stream now to join. That's when it becomes your time to join, chat. Once the guild is made, actually made, and everyone's in it, I'm gonna be inviting as many people as I can that are willing to play Classic WoW into the guild. We're playing on Horde, by the way, and on a PvP server. I'm the impetus for us being Horde. I think Horde was the right choice. I've been having fun playing as a Forsaken, and Ethan likes Orgrimmar and like playing as the Horde more than Alliance. Yeah, we're playing Horde. Is WoW free? It's not free, but it's only $15 a month for Classic. You don't have to pay for anything extra like new expansions. You just have an active sub and you can play. Horde is such a vibe. I'm a troll hunter? Hell yeah. Yeah, troll. Listen, I do love the Horde vibes. The Horde vibes are pretty peak. I love questing in Durotar and Barrens. It's got a very certain aesthetic to it that I very much enjoy. Don't get me wrong. Need to get back into WoW. Classic WoW. And in my guild, specifically. I'm, of course, playing a Forsaken Warrior. I am two-handed arms warrioring with a big two-handed axe currently. I'm getting myself ready to get the Whirlwind Axe and hopefully eventually Ravenger when I run Scarlet Monastery. But I think I'm going to respec, or dual spec I think is a thing now, so I'll do that. A Fury dual wielder warrior that can just pump DPS with Fury dual wielding, and I want to be able to go, obviously, arms two-handing, for whatever ends up being the best option in a fight. As to know how I'm doing, my job is forcing an AI productivity tool down our throats as a contractor. They shouldn't be able to force me to use it, but they're changing the contract next year at renewal to require it. Oh, that sucks, Aleakai. I'm sorry. Fucking cringe. That is some cringe right there. I wish you luck with that situation. Zan, didn't you say you'd make a tier list of leftist YouTubers? I did that a long time ago, MechSky3. That was a while ago. I did it. You must not have been there. Harry Icefire, thank you for the $5 donation. I really appreciate that. Very kind of you. Very base. Thank you, thank you. Said, Zan, I want to commit Christian corruption. What would be the best way to convince an open-minded Christian to have progressive values? We must show them the light of progressivism. I mean, I would basically just debate them using Bible quotes, I guess, you know? Like, just to get into a Bible quote off with them. You know, there's a lot of quotes from the Bible, particularly from the New Testament and from Jesus himself, that are just not concordant with what the right and what Republicans nowadays believe in. I feel like anyone who truly follows the words of Jesus Christ couldn't possibly, like Trump, for instance. Trump is extremely un-Christ-like, so just quote the Bible about particularly the way Jesus was and what he believed, and just out-Bible them if they're an open-minded Christian who can have their mind change but is still a Christian. Then yeah, that's probably the way I'd go, Perry Icefire. Thank you for the $5. I really appreciate it. You are very kind and very base. Thank you, thank you. And then Ninetails Fox 2, who I just shouted out for being a super based Giga supporter of the stream, just dropped 2 Tier 1 gifted subs over on Emily the Skulldog and Not an Enderman, who I hope really appreciated their respective blue names that just got gifted to them. Welcome to the club, guys, and thank you, Ninetails Fox. Just said, just want to drop a couple of rando donations to purge the whites based. The yellow was a gift. Oh wait, you were gifted the yellow. Well, you've donated a lot regardless. I know that for a fact. You've made my jaw drop before. Might resub to it though, provided I'm not poor. Well, I hope you're not poor just for the sake of you not being poor, but also having wealthy and well-off viewers is good for me too. You know, connect the dots and all that. Thank you for the $10. I really appreciate that. Very kind of you. You are based. Let me update that dono goal. I need to update the date. Someone's gonna clip that? Me saying I want my fans to be financially well off because obviously that's, you know, you guys aren't dealing with money problems, but that also means I get more money. I don't think that's all that clippable, to be honest. I feel like that's just saying, like, the quiet part of being a content creator on the internet out loud. And it's not even, like, a bad thing. Like, obviously, your fans being financially well off is also good for a content creator. That means there's a relationship between the parties in which you guys having a good life equals me having a good life. You guys having a bad life probably equals me having a worse life, right? Zan, if I subscribe to you on Twitch, will you get that money because you don't stream there anymore? I think I will, yeah. But I mean, if you want to sub there, you can. I might end up streaming there in the future, you know, depending on what my needs are. Particularly if it's like a very special gaming stream, like when Hytale comes out or something. Which, by the way, on the 14th of December, there is going to be an event that is yearly, mind you, and I have participated in, I think, every one of them. There is going to be a yearly event happening on, once again, on the 14th of December, called Hytale Thankmas. If you guys don't know, Jacksepticeye every year does this Thankmas charity stream, and he creates an affiliate sort of dono link for other streamers to run charity streams to contribute to his charity, right? So it's like, it's not just him raising the money, it's as many creators as he can get on board raising money as well. And one of those creators, or I should say many of those creators, are like the entire Hytale content creation community. Mind you, a content creation community for an amazing game that has not come out yet. We've got a lot of faith, right? But if you know business and investing in the games industry, you know this game is going to be peak. But outside of that sort of meta-gaming of the games industry, it's a very promising game. And we've raised a lot of money for charity every Christmas doing this sort of Thankmas charity for Hytale fans every year. Ever since like 2018 or 2019, I think it started in 2020 actually. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was 2020 actually. Regardless though, the first one that I did was actually where I got the Quebec miniature from the CEO of Hypixel Studios, by the way. Cool as fuck. One of the coolest things I own. It's awesome. But I'm going to be appearing on the Hytale Thankmas charity stream once again this year, and I want you guys to come out in droves to support the charity, okay? I'm going to be appearing on there as a guest for probably a few hours. I'm going to be announcing it in my Discord when it starts and linking to it. And I highly, highly, highly encourage that you guys, coming into December, put a little money aside, you know, $5 or something like that, to donate to this charity stream. It's not going to be on my channel. I'm going to be linking it. It's going to be on Quebec Corner's channel, I believe. And there's going to be like a special donation link to Jacksepticeye's charity that you guys are going to have to do it through. But set aside a little money if you can for that, because there's going to be a charity stream I'm involved in, and I want my community to be able to help out. Is the leftist YouTuber tier list on a video? No, it's not a video. It was just a segment on stream. It was done for fun. Damn, I need to check it out? Yeah, sure. Have I looked into Exodus Become the Traveler? I have not. I've never heard of it. Zan, thoughts on lever action rifles? They're cool as fuck, dude. They're cool as hell. One of the coolest types of rifles in terms of aesthetics. I've never used one, to be clear, so I don't know how effective they are. They might suck total dick, but they're cool as fuck. Lever action shotgun, though. Lever action shotgun. That shit. I'm pretty sure that's what Arnold uses in Terminator 2 when he's riding on the motorcycle in those, like, drainage ditches in LA. And he's like, he flips it, and then he shoots the lock off the fence. I'm pretty sure that was a lever action shotgun, right? Was it a lever action rifle? Terminator 2 lever action. Oh. It was a shotgun. It was a 12 gauge, 1887 lever action. Huh. Cimarron. I've never heard of that gun company before. It's probably old. Like, really old. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was right. Yeah, lever action shotgun. That shit goes hard. Like, if you can do that with a gun, what he does in that movie, then it's a cool fucking gun. So yeah, those are my thoughts on it. Zan, did you see Jacksepticeye's new vid? I heard he got diagnosed with the TISM. Xanderhall, by the way, I have a bone to pick with America today because of your bizarrely late in the year Thanksgiving. Both of my TTRPG groups canceled this week. Oh, I'm sorry, Balth. I'm sorry. Listen, no. I love where Thanksgiving is. We're in what's called the holiday season, all right? We've got Thanksgiving, and then we're moving on into just all the holidays. We got Christmas, we got Hanukkah, we got New Year's, we got everything, okay? A couple months after, early in the year, we get, I think that's when Chinese New Year happens. Which is baller as fuck in Seattle. Because people celebrate it here. Yeah, then obviously at Halloween. Yeah, I forgot about Halloween. I forgot about Halloween! I thought there was just a holiday. Xanderal, I put a video in the Discord chat for segments. Would you be interested in watching it? I got one. I don't know what it's about, because he didn't specify, but I already got my segments for today listed. So maybe for tomorrow. I'll check it out. Chinese New Year happens on the first full moon. Okay, yeah, so pretty soon after the year, generally. How dare you forget when Chinese New Year is? Or when about Halloween. That's true. Halloween is a good holiday. I should be accursed for forgetting it. A video about Discord North Korean spies. Gotta keep an eye out for them. Don't want them invading the Discord. Figuring out our plans for what we're gonna do to Kim Jong-un. I can never forget Halloween. It's my wedding anniversary. Oh, that's so cool. Halloween's a good day to get married. I hope you had a Halloween-themed wedding. You kind of have to, otherwise that's, you know, heresy. Zan, do you plan to cover how businesses are abandoning DEI and that one study saying that DEI training makes people more hostile? I'd be drinking from the gallon for today. I've heard about that stuff, and I do want to make a video talking about it, but not on its own. What I plan to do is talk about it in the context of a broader trend, where I think we need, as the left, to recognize that in America, political correctness is a very unpopular thing. We are a very ruthlessly free speech country that does not take kindly to any form of perceived censorship, and that if the left doesn't work hard to buck the things the right has attached to us, we're probably going to fail. And that's probably why a lot of companies are recognizing the turn in cultural shift in America, and they're starting to market more to conservatives. I think probably the biggest sign that things were going this way was Bud Light. Like, the Bud Light boycott was genuinely massive. Like, it had a massive impact on the stock price of that company. It was the first time that we ever saw a boycott like that genuinely take off, and since then, their other boycotts have been working. When the left boycotts something, nothing ever happens. Nothing comes of it. And that was true of the right as well, even more so for a long time. But now, that's very much changed. It goes to show where a lot of people are right now. It makes white people more hostile. I saw something about that, yeah, that like the DEI training makes white people more hostile towards people of color because of some idea, it makes them bitter or something. You gotta remember, white people are extremely, extremely fragile, and unless you account for that fragility, they're just gonna go to the right and, like, support fascists. And you can say, oh, well, then fuck them, until they elect the fascist, and the fascist is then going to kill you. So there's kind of a certain level of you gotta bite the bullet and deal with it, with certain things, I guess. That a lot of the left is going to have to come to terms with in the coming years if we're going to sway people. Maybe one day to answer, but that's a hyper-specific... That's a hyper-specific topic for today. Xanderhall, why do white boys be so fragile? I don't know. I genuinely couldn't tell you. I'll think on it. Like, that's the kind of... Whenever I plan to talk about something on stream, I usually, like, figure that out the night before. And I spend, like, my evening and morning thinking about the topics I'm going to cover. And I usually come to some epiphanies while doing so. And I might even research some things that I'm curious about, too. I usually do. And that helps to fill some gaps in my knowledge and help me refine my opinion. And then when I come on stream... Even if I am reacting to a video completely blind, if I know the topic, I can think on that topic a lot and remind myself of any knowledge that might be relevant going in. And I think that's actually a big benefit to my content that, like, maybe other political content creators don't have going for them. I don't feel like there's a lot of prep that goes into progressive content, you know? I feel like conservative content creators, there's no prep. Lefty content creators, very little as well when it comes to streaming. I feel like I put in a bit more prep than most. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Checkmate07. Happy Thanksgiving to you, too. I got a dono on YouTube. I saw. Mr. Krabs, thank you for the $5 dues. Suzanne, a new Sonic movie trailer just released 3 days ago, and they confirmed Shadow has a gun in the trailer, so can you react to it, please? You know what, guys? We did hit 100k after all, which, if you guys have been watching for a while, you know that means I will finally play a Sonic game, and I have decided it will be Sonic Adventures 2. That is what I'm going to stream. It'll be after we beat Subnautica, but I will be streaming that game, and it'll be my first ever time playing a Sonic game at all. I've never so much as touched a controller that was connected to a system that had a Sonic game on it, okay? That is how far from playing a Sonic game I have ever been. I have seen gameplay, and that is exclusively it. I've never been in the same room while someone was playing Sonic. I'm a newbie when it comes to that franchise, so for people who like it, I hope you guys enjoy my, my stream of it. That is now inevitable. Careful, Warner Brothers might nuke you for playing the trailer. That is unlikely. That is very unlikely. Trailers are typically fine to play on stream. That is very different than playing a copyrighted song. I feel like you guys are intentionally misunderstanding the YouTube rules at this point. But maybe I'm wrong. Let's watch the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 official trailer 2. Let's go! Oh shit.
Here we go.
Knuckles and Tails and Sonic. The boys.
What is this den of madness?
Are you Detective Pikachu?
He does look...
I feel like that's like too self-referential. They're totally going to do like a cinematic universe, aren't they? Okay, I'll eat like a handful of flour on stream, okay? If they end up making a Detective Pikachu Sonic live-action cinematic universe. That's got to be what they're suggesting with that line, right? Like a little MCU action they're trying to build up. The Nintendo gods are gonna smite Zan.
Like a Pokemon. Pika Pika.
They can do that.
What? Get down!
Oh my god. I am going to cringe my way through this whole movie, and I'm going to enjoy every second of that cringe, dude. These movies are such a good example of finding a way to kill the part of you that cringes, not the part of you that's cringe, you know? I will say, if you like Sonic's human, like, companion, his dad, so to say, the actor who plays him, I guess, James Marsden was in this reality show called Jury Duty that is genuinely hysterically hilarious, okay? We might watch party that someday in the Discord. It's that funny.
It's time, Shadow.
Oh my god, are they gonna shoot Sonic?
Finally, we will have our revenge.
There he is.
But what good is a dastardly plot?
It's Keanu.
Conspire with family.
There's 2 Eggmen now?
Double your villains, double your fun. Any last words?
Nice magic marble, real scary. That actually is real scary. Trick shot.
I have no idea what's happening right now.
Tom, Maddie, we need your help on a super... Knuckles, do you mind?
Oh, excuse me.
Tom, Maddie, we need your help on a super dangerous top secret mission.
We're in.
Are you ready?
We were born ready.
All right, boys, try and keep up.
Yes, the Sonic fans in chat obviously do love this. I am cringing, but I hope you know that I'm cringing with love, okay? I'm cringing with love. I just want to see Shadow with a gun, okay? And it needs to be a real gun, not some like sci-fi laser gun. It needs to be a real fucking gun, like tactical black and everything.
Come on, Granddaddy-O. We've got
Dirt to do.
with Shadow's power.
We can rule humanity. When we're done, there won't be anything left to rule. That is dark.
Oh my god, he's gonna piss on the moon. Wait, he's gonna do it in this. He's gonna piss on the moon in this movie. He's gonna do the thing, isn't he? That's what that was. He's gonna piss on the moon. He's totally gonna do it in this one. That's the piss beam right there, isn't it? That's the piss. Oh, it's gonna happen, guys. Day 1, we there, chat. I will be in that theater, and I will be cheering as Eggman pisses on the moon with his super laser piss. Oh, yes, dude. Holy shit. Absolute cinema. Yes!
You better call Google Maps.
Oh, God.
Life's all about the choices we make. Remember to listen to your heart. You're gonna make the right choice when it matters the most.
One head out to another. Who does your highlights?
Wait, oh, what did he have? Oh, what was that?
Life's all about the choices we make.
He had a gun. That was a gun.
Remember to listen to your heart. You're gonna make the right choice when it matters the most.
Oh, it's like some fake sci-fi gun, but alright. Presumably he shoots shit in it, so that's good. He's on the motorcycle too. Yeah, they're doing that one. They're doing the thing. They're gonna adapt it. They have to. They gotta. Oh. Let's go, dude. I'm ready to cringe.
Who does your highlights?
The more you talk.
I've been thinking about why so many in the radical left are obsessed with speed running.
The harder I want to hit you.
This ends now.
Our destiny awaits. You were right about one thing. This ends now.
Oh my god, I love that it's Keanu Reeves voicing Shadow goes absolutely crazy. It really does. You lucky bastard Sonic fans. You lucky fucks. You have no idea. You have no idea how lucky you are for your franchise to get this kind of love, okay? You guys are lucky bastards. Jim Carrey too. Oh my god. Lucky fuckers. You lucky bastards. Fuck you, Sonic! I'm pissing on the moon! You idiot! Happy Turkey Day, Heavy Gretel. Welcome, welcome. It's good to see ya. Chat, it is so good to be back. My throat is no longer... Well, it doesn't feel like there's a cactus stuck in the back of it anymore. It's a little tickly. I'm still a little bit recovering, but overall, I can actually speak and project my voice, so we are back. We are so fucking back, guys. Happy Turkey Day, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you're all having a good one. I hope your stomachs are full of meats and breads and cheeses and all sorts of good things. I don't have one, Delancer. I don't have one. Elon Musk wants to buy Hasbro to own D&D. I saw that. I'll definitely be talking about it next stream, but not today, unfortunately. Did my dono get passed? Just want to know so I can rewind to find out if it did. I did read it, Perry Icefire. I did. Thank you, by the way. My answer was basically to do a Bible quote off. Like read particularly all the Jesus-y bits of the New Testament and then use that against them if they vote Republican. Particularly call out how un-Jesus-like, or un-Christ-like, I should say, Trump is. How un-Christ-like every Republican is. No brain rot, Wild Rose, but thank you. I appreciate the sentiment. Okay, nope, we need to ban Elon from buying shit. Just fucking no, he ruins everything. I really don't care if Elon buys D&D, and neither should you. Isn't, like, Homebrew, like, Pathfinder or whatever better? Isn't that not even Wizards of the Coast? Yeah? Okay, so in that case, you lose nothing. What, you guys are gonna cry over losing 5e? Isn't Pathfinder, like, way better? Pathfinder is better, but D&D is iconic? Yeah, but if Elon buys D&D, it means he owns Baldur's Gate? That's true. He would literally force them to remove fucking Astarion. For sure. If Elon buys D&D, he might fuck over Hasbro, Beyblade X My Hobby. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, TSW the Shadow Wolf. Elon's coming for everything that you love. Hasbro has children's games, right-wing propaganda on kids. I mean, that'll probably be what he tries to use it for, I'm sure. You can't pay me to play Pathfinder? If you've never tried it before, how can you know if it's not better? Everyone I've ever talked to that's into D&D agrees it's unbelievably more, like, just better, you know? Yeah. Fuck Elon. Fuck Elon. Alright. I think it's time we hopped into the first segment of the day, huh, guys? What do y'all think? Think it's a good idea? I think it is. All right. Y'all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. You know, every time I make this point, I feel like I'm probably going to get called out for some misogynistic, at least perception of what I said. But I really do stand by it and think that there is something going on here. Why do all conservative white women look the same. I swear to God, there are two categories, alright? And I've said this before. They are either ditzy, bimbo-ish blonde women from the Midwest or Canada, and if they're not blonde, if they're brunette, and they have glasses. From Boebert to Sarah Palin, the brunettes look like that. Otherwise, they are a blonde, bimbo-ish, plastic surgeried up, sort of Barbie doll-looking figure. I've seen this overwhelmingly. Or they're from Russia. They're oftentimes from Russia, too. That's obviously pretty common. Mormonism, it could be a lot of them are Mormons. You're not wrong. That could be a part of it. Not really bimbo. Conservative blonde women are all super bland. No, there's something bimbo-ish about them, and what I mean by that is that they're very dumb. They're like very... They talk in a way where you can detect their low IQ just from their voice, you know? Like, the way that they trail words, like, one word into the next, you can tell there's not much going on, you know? That head is fucking empty, bro. I think Boebert and particularly Marjorie Taylor Greene are good examples of this, but regardless, I've made this point a lot of times. However, there's been a creator who has come out with a whole video about this. It's only 2 days old and has 500,000 views, which absolutely fucking based, by the way, because there is long since we have needed to have this conversation. This video is by a YouTuber named Amanda Mariana, and it's called Why Do Republican Women Look Like That? Very straightforward, to the point title. I love it. I'm going to drop a link to the video in chat, and certainly leave a comment down below and let me know if I forget to include it in the description of this video when it goes out on its own on YouTube. But in the meantime, make sure you go leave a like on that video, the original one, as well as mine if you would so please. You know, every thumbs up goes a long way. Comments too. But in the meantime, let's check out this video. I've got a little sped up, but oh boy. This seems like it's going to be a good one, and it looks like we're starting off with a Congress hearing.
On May 16th, 2024, C-SPAN went World Star. During an already heated House Oversight Committee hearing, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Republican congresswoman from Georgia, responded.
Dude, we need to watch these, okay? I think that whenever these happen and C-SPAN live streams them, I'm gonna like find a way to get alerts set so that YouTube doesn't fuck me, because YouTube just won't tell you when you turn alerts on all the time that like the algorithm thinks it knows better, and so if they think you won't be interested in something that like something you're sub to has put out, they just won't notify you. And so if I can find a way to reliably get notified when C-SPAN is live, because they're the, you know, they're the go-to for when they live stream this stuff and they don't copyright when you react to it, I think we should start like doing live reactions to these things, because for one, MTG is almost always there, and regardless, if there's a Republican there, and there always is, they say some awful shit, and half the time it's literally, I mean, just watch this clip. I've seen this clip on Twitter. I remember seeing this clip and thinking, holy fuck, I need to start reacting to these things live on stream, because I don't know how many Americans are unaware of the absolute drama going on in our fucking capital right now. Look at this shit. Watch this. Just watch.
To a question from Representative Jasmine Crockett, a Democratic congresswoman from Texas, by saying,
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
Representative AOC of New
What do you think she meant by that? What do you think she meant by that?
New York jumped in and requested to strike Greene's words and make her apologize, as the remarks...
Also, you're not allowed to do that. Like, even if that was, like, a not racist attack, and you know it was racist, like, based on some, like, bitchy, mean girl stereotype that MTG believes in about black women. But, like, even if it wasn't, the rude comment is not the kind of behavior that's allowed in this circumstance, like, on its own. But you gotta remember, Republicans hold the majority of power here, so wait till you see what happens here.
Violated decorum and were a personal disparagement of
AOC.
Representative Crockett.
That is absolutely unacceptable. How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person? Are your feelings hurt? Her words down. Oh, girl, baby girl. Oh, really? Don't even play.
After some back and forth,
Man, I wonder why AOC is, like, the most popular politician in the world. I wonder how she achieved that.
Marjorie Taylor Greene eventually agreed to strike her statement towards Crockett, but refused to apologize. Despite demands from Democrats to force Marjorie Taylor Greene to apologize, James Comer, the chairman of the committee, ruled that Greene's insult of Crockett did not violate House rules against engaging in personalities during debate. Naturally, Representative Jasmine Crockett asked Comer for clarification to understand his ruling about what defines a personal attack.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling, if someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
Chairman.
Like I said, we need to start watching these on stream. They're real fucking good.
I make a motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's
Hold on.
part
I'm
of the...
trying to find clarification on what quality.
Chairman, motion to strike those
I had no idea
words.
what you just said.
It was the clapback that shook the halls of Congress, and soon, the internet.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling, if someone on this committee...
Listen, you gotta remember, fucking anyone can run for Congress, alright? That, like, MTG wins in a landslide in her district, okay? Like, any crazy fucker in some backwoods part of the country can win their district and become a congressional representative. So you gotta remember, there are some fucking clowns in there. And there are also some great people who are willing to lay the smack down on the fucking clowns. And that's what we just saw go down. It's why Congress might actually be the most interesting part of our government on a daily basis, because the people there are far closer to just normal people than most of the rest of the government, if that makes sense. And so this kind of stuff is commonplace. And it's always stoked on and started by the Republicans, mind you.
Committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Bleach blonde, bad built butch body.
What now?
Bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Baby girl.
In a matter of days,
I hope that one day I can run for Congress and win, just so I can bring one of those, like, funny easels up on, like, the floor to where everyone's looking at me, and I can, like, switch through pages where I'm talking about an important issue, but then, like, when I flip one of the pages, it's a picture of the smiling Titan from Attack on Titan about to eat Aaron's mom, like an angle where she really looks like Marjorie Taylor Greene. And then I can just be like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know how Marjorie Taylor Greene got in here. And then flip to the next page and go back to talking about... Because you can just do that. Like, you can just totally do that. Like... Yeah, I know her name is Dina Fritz, but you can just totally do that. And I feel like that would go hard as fuck.
days, Crockett's words went viral. It spawned remixes, merch, and even an SNL parody, as well as a number of media appearances. While the clapback was funny and witty, it resonated because it was true, and nothing is worse than someone telling you exactly who you are. What stood out to me about this showdown was the fact that it began because a conservative, far-right Republican woman insulted a liberal Democratic woman for her display of femininity, long, false eyelashes. Historically, conservative critiques of liberal women's appearances involve targeting their looks due to a perceived lack of traditional femininity.
Look, I gotta say this, and I know someone's gonna probably troll me on this, but show me, liberal women tend to be some of the ugliest women I've ever seen. And I'm serious, I mean, zero makeup.
Okay, if that's true, why won't they stop horny posting about AOC? Like, come on, we can all tell that you have a hate boner for AOC, and, you know, keyword boner here, right? Like, we all know what y'all are thinking. Like, these are the guys who are actively fighting to ensure that young progressive women are forced to have sex with them. They obviously consider progressive women attractive, particularly because young women tend to be progressive, and that's the group that they constantly fetishize. The younger, the better to these people. They're constantly fetishizing, I mean, hell, they fetishize underage girls constantly, and I guess it's just fine. No one calls, well, we call them out, but broadly, it doesn't do anything. Like, it seems like broader society doesn't even seem bothered by it.
Well,
they take no pride in their. Well, they want to be men. They take no pride in their dress, their attire, their makeup, their haircut. Half of them look like men.
For context, the man speaking in this clip is the boyfriend of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh my god, dude. Oh, that's rough. That is rough, dude. Like I said, man, I feel like I'm getting into borderline, like, eugenics territory when I talk about how these people all look the same. But, like, I need you guys to get the faces of, like, Ben Shapiro, this guy, and J.D. Vance next to each other. Just take everything from the eyebrows to the mouth and just, like, put those faces next to each other and tell me there's not something going on, okay? That's all I'm saying. Just take those faces, put them next to each other, and tell me there's not something going on. Like, dude, what is up with all of them having this demonic, ghoulish, like, sneering look as their resting face? It's like hate turns your resting face into a sneer, and they all have that resting sneer face. And rape eyebrows. That's a very good way of putting it, Ashroom. They all have rape eyebrows. I'm not calling them rapists. I'm just saying, I call that type of eyebrow, personally, and among my friends, rape eyebrows.
The man speaking in that clip is the boyfriend of Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's all I'm gonna say. Representative Jasmine Crockett.
Okay, I'm really wondering what that exercise is supposed to be, though.
The boyfriend of Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's all I'm gonna say.
What is this? Is she trying to do a muscle up? I'm guessing she can't, though, because she'll bust her head into the ceiling if she does a full muscle up, right? So she has to do this weird, like, sideways, like, almost muscle up. Otherwise, she'll smash her head into the ceiling. That's funny as fuck, actually. That's really funny. Because if she goes all the way, she'll smash her head into the light above her or something. It's a CrossFit pull-up. I'm pretty sure she wants to do a muscle up. She wants to get all the way up. But if she does it, her head will go through into the attic. Well, yeah, what's also kind of, like, cheaty about this is she's using momentum. And if you really want to do it right, if you're trying to make yourself fucking burn, because it doesn't matter how many reps you can do, you're just trying to make yourself burn as fast as possible and reach your limit and then go a little beyond it, because that's all that matters when you're working out. That's how you get, like, better. But if you're just trying to, like, cheat with your momentum and get as many reps out as possible, you're not really doing much for yourself, and that's kind of what she's doing here. Yeah, it's why CrossFit is fucking lame, Eliakai. Like, CrossFit is, like, notoriously cringe. Like, it doesn't really work as well as more measured and, I guess, medically backed workouts. Like, you're trying to compete against your own limits when you're working out, not set some goal that you reach, regardless of what you know you can achieve, right? Like, you don't really gain much from, like, killing yourself in a workout. Like, that doesn't do anything for you. You don't gain more from that workout than you do, much more at least, than you do from just a reasonable, well-paced, effective workout. I don't know. I'm not getting into a workout tangent here.
Representative Jasmine Crockett is a traditionally feminine presenting woman.
CrossFit does burn a lot of calories, which would imply that if calorie burning is what Marjorie Taylor Greene needs, then that's hilarious. For reasons that conservatives seem to find funny.
She's got a face full of makeup, false eyelashes, long hair, and isn't afraid to wear pink. Her aesthetic aligns with conventional markers of femininity. So, why did Marjorie Taylor Greene make a derogatory comment about her appearance? First and foremost, Greene is a known instigator and bully, but there's some subtext. Conservatives tend to have essentialist views on gender, so they believe femininity is inherent to a woman, and this translates into the feminine aesthetic they idealize, an aesthetic in which a woman's femininity should be apparent but never distracting. And that's where, in the mind of Marjorie Taylor Greene, Jasmine Crockett went wrong. Her lashes were apparently too much. In my opinion, it looked fine. It fit in with her face. It didn't look like she was wearing Furbies on her eyelids. Like, it just looked like she was doing a full beat. Looked appropriate to me. But traditionally feminine aesthetics are as much about whiteness as they are about womanness. So these people will always find some.
All right, I'm gonna say it, okay? I'm gonna say what no one else will, okay? The vast majority of white women that I have seen in our government are very bad when it comes to makeup. Can we all agree on that? Like, they're not, or at least maybe they're good at it, but they're certainly not exercising their skill before they go to the halls of Congress or whatever, right? It's just not very, very common. However, Rep. Crockett, like, hold on, let me rewind until she's on screen. She is really pretty. Like, she is leaned into it. And I honestly think that for a lot of, like, for Marjorie Taylor Greene in particular, it's racism and sexism. It's like that bitchy mean girl jealousy, and it's also racism. Because let's be honest, you know, Marjorie Taylor Greene is the representative of racist white soccer moms in that, like, district of Georgia, that, like, rural-ish kind of country/suburb area. She's, like, their idol. She is them. She is their representative. Right? So you know for a fact that she's racist as fuck. So she's jealous and racist. That's what we gotta really nail it down on, I think.
It looked appropriate to me, but traditionally feminine aesthetics are as much about whiteness as they are about womanness. So these people will always find something deviant about a black woman's performance of femininity. When a white woman does it, it's trendy and cool. When a black woman does it, it's unacceptable and ghetto. Hence, Greene was quick to...
Or they'll suggest it's dishonest, right? Because a lot of like white supremacist beliefs and stereotyping about black women is that black women aren't feminine. And so I guess the idea of doing those things to meet those standards of femininity would also be seen as dishonest. And this applies to all women as well. You'll see that like a lot of incel dude bro, like toxic masculine types like to say things like take girls to the beach or the pool on a first date, like that kind of thing. There's this error of like, oh, they're dishonest, they're lying to you in their appearance, that dudes will say about women who put on like makeup or use like false lashes or something like that. Yeah.
Insult Crockett's appearance when she had never commented on the appearance of other colleagues. For example, Representative Lauren Boebert, a Republican congresswoman from Colorado, has feuded with Greene in the past. She wears makeup, clip-in hair extensions, and lashes, but Greene never used those physical embellishments as a point of attack. Why is that?
I don't know much about makeup, but I know a little bit because I've dated women before, and they talk about makeup a lot. But honestly, Boebert's makeup is not well done. Maybe she has like a pretty bumpy face or something underneath the makeup, but oh yeah, her eyebrows are awful. Maybe the glasses are screwing her over a little bit here, but those eyebrows are not well filled in. Coming off as a little, the foundation, not too much foundation. Do you think it's too, I thought it might be too little, foundation. I don't know, but like, yeah. Dude, I like how we've gone full... We're doing the full Squad W calling conservative women ugly stream. Holy shit. Honestly, we embrace it, okay? We embrace it. It's not sexist if we do it to everybody.
Those physical embellishments as a point of attack. Why is that? 1, racism, but 2, Republican women kind of just look like that, which is what I want to
Yes, they do. Yes, they fucking do.
Explore in today's video. And here's why. After the election, my TikTok For You page was full of people pointing out that many prominent influencers had been awfully quiet after Trump's victory.
Speaking as an influencer, a lot of your favorite influencers are fucking embarrassing and fucking pathetic. To be a woman in America with a huge fucking platform and a huge audience and post nothing yesterday.
People were disappointed that their favorite female influencers seemed indifferent about the results of an election where women's rights to bodily autonomy were on the line. Or worse, they voted for the person who has been actively taking those rights away. While some were shocked and upset.
No need to call them out. They're going to experience the consequences of not, like, kicking it into overdrive and voting for Kamala once Trump takes office, okay? The more that a right-wing administration affects your life, the less that you can try and argue that you have no reason to, like, go out and prevent them from taking power, right?
Upset that these women with huge platforms didn't speak up. Many were equally disappointed, but they weren't.
Now that Chad is out of the way, I can definitively say that Boebert overdid her brows. True.
Surprised.
I'm not a great judge of character. I wasn't following Trump supporters. The amount of people I'm seeing being like, I had to unfollow so many people. What? You mean you can't see it in their eyes? The windows to their desolate abyss of a brain? They have a face and racist hair. I am so unsurprised whenever I hear that these influencers voted for. I already knew that. I already knew.
Yeah, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. You can always fucking tell. Like, yeah, oh, you voted for Trump. Really? Really? I'm so shocked.
And listen, I'm not trying to drag people's appearances for no reason, but this has to be studied because there is a certain Republican look.
How right-wing people always love to hammer home the whole blue hair feminist.
Zan's love for Lord of the Rings has inspired me to begin reading The Hobbit. It's an insanely good book. And it's like, it's good out of the gate. That's the thing about Tolkien's writing. It's not one of those stories that like takes a bit to like ramp up and get good. Like especially if you're going in blind or mostly blind, you're locked in from page one. Like the second or third sentence is like, okay, this world is interesting. I'm in. You know, I love Tolkien's writing.
This stereotype.
Have fun.
All of you bitches look the same. Really, all of you bitches look the same. You have this.
And you know, that's probably a big part of like why they push the thing that they do, right? Like you see a woman who's got like blue hair and pronouns or whatever, and I think that like you go back to 2008 and like every meme about what dudes are into is about like how guys are into like the colored hair scene girls that wear like a lot of eyeliner and don't dress like a lot of nonconformity, right? But nowadays that's like perceived as being like the ugly feminist look, I guess, because it's not traditional. The right has pushed really hard to move young people culturally into viewing what was literally like a decade ago seen as like the peak of femininity into a disgusting thing to sneer at and degrade. It's a really bizarre switch up that's happened in like 15 years, I guess I would say. Like it started maybe 12 or 13 years ago, but like 15 years ago that was the peak. Now it's the trough, I guess. True, they make fun of liberal women for fitting into a stereotype when conservative men also fit into a stereotype. Well, that's the thing. They try to enforce their stereotypes as good and anything that breaks it as bad. 2000s and 2010s being a naked counterculture girl on the internet was the cool thing to do. Yeah, now it's like you're destroying Western civilization.
Same bad bleach job, micro-link extensions hanging out the back of your head, and the perhaps worst spray tan.
I am still in favor of naked counterculture women. That is, there are still men out there, such as myself, who are in favor of this, by the way. We are still out there, okay? Not all of us are cringe lord conservatives, all right? Some of us still have taste.
And I've seen in my entire 22 years on Earth. And also, none of you can do makeup to save your fucking life.
Real.
Is that a requirement to be a Republican? I'm literally just asking.
Listen, when a straight dude can tell, when a straight dude is calling that shit out, you know that it's true. This is not mean girl insults. This is just real shit. I'm a straight guy, and just dating women, I know enough about makeup to know that these conservative women are awful at makeup.
Why do they all look like that? Of course, this is a generalization. Not every Republican woman looks the same, but
they do not watch makeup YouTubers. Like a lot of women watch makeup YouTubers, and it's not because of the makeup. It's because 90% of makeup YouTubers tend to also be storytellers that have a strong parasocial tie to their audience. Like I used to watch like my exes when like what they watched as well sometimes, and usually it would be a makeup YouTuber who's of course like doing something with their face, you know, using it as like the canvas. And, you know, the watching the before and after and the whole process is nice, but usually they're also talking while doing their makeup, telling stories or even just giving tips and stuff like that. And a lot of at least progressive younger women that I know who are like in their 20s or even in their 30s tend to watch that kind of content. It's very like go-to popular entertainment and in a way passive education on like very skilled makeup tactics, right? Tactics. It's such a man way to describe it. Holy shit. But like that I feel like a lot of conservative women aren't watching that kind of stuff because those creators tend to lean pretty liberal, pretty left-leaning. right? And so, like, a lot of TikTokers who are doing makeup stuff, and I feel like a lot of progressive women watch that stuff more often than not, or more often than conservative women do. That's probably a big part of it, right? Any women in chat want to confirm or deny if this is real? Oh yeah, also conservatives can't do art. That's a big part of it too. And makeup is a kind of art.
The prominent ones tend to favor this aesthetic, which includes long layered hair, orange spray tan, noticeable plastic surgery, and heavy-handed makeup. Conservative ideology emphasizes traditional...
It's actually crazy how much they're, like, imitating Trump, even the women. Holy crap. Spray tan, fake blonde. Orange spray tan.
Gender roles with expectations that women embody a specific version of femininity tied to domesticity and softness. But in recent years, it seems like Republican women are straying from this ideal. So for example, Marjorie Taylor Greene's assertive demeanor and combative rhetoric, even her muscular physique, seem at odds with these values. This apparent contradiction illustrates a broader evolution in conservative politics. Greene
Well, the evolution in conservative politics is that everything is okay if it serves the right wing's agenda, and nothing is okay if it is perceived as supporting the left.
Embodies a form of what some scholars call conservative feminism, where women assert power without adhering to traditional ideals of female passivity or submissiveness. It shows that conservatism, even while promoting traditional values, can accommodate and elevate women who break gender norms in pursuit of influence. In this pursuit of influence, they are sacrificing the soft disposition that conservatives value in their women, so it seems like they try to overcompensate for that lack of femininity in their physical appearance. So in today's video, I want to explore the Republican woman aesthetic and why prominent Republican women present themselves in certain ways that both reflect and contradict conservative ideals of femininity.
Why do they look like that?
The idealization
basically?
And the performance of femininity is something that is sort of endlessly interesting to me, so that's why I want to talk about this topic. Like I mentioned earlier, conservative ideology promotes traditional gender roles that are rooted in an essentialist view of gender, which assumes that men and women have distinct innate qualities suited to different roles in society. These roles are often framed as natural or divinely ordained. For women, this comes with expectations of modesty, domesticity, and softness. Conservative ideals often promote the idea that women should dress and behave modestly to convey respectability and femininity. Outfits should be polished but not too revealing, and the same goes for demeanor. Women are encouraged to be polite and not overly assertive, which is seen as unladylike. Women are expected to embody traits like kindness, gentleness, and emotional warmth. This goes hand in hand with the belief that women are naturally more nurturing than men, making them perfectly suited for caregiving roles. The ideal conservative woman isn't just a homemaker. She's also a source of emotional support and moral guidance for her family. There's also a big emphasis on women as the heart of the home. The ideal conservative woman is often portrayed as a dedicated wife and mother, putting her family's needs above her own. Careers and ambitions outside the home are fine, but they are often framed as secondary to family responsibilities. A lot of these ideals come from the Bible, where men and women are seen as having God-given roles that complement each other. In Christianity, women are often encouraged to submit to their husbands.
Oh no, turn off the autofocus! Advice to, why am I forgetting her name right now? I feel so bad. Amanda Mariana. Maybe she ends up watching my reaction to her video. Always before recording, turn off autofocus. And if you're recording with a webcam, if your PC restarts, then 99% of the time, then your camera settings reset. And so even if you've turned off autofocus before, you got to do it every time you restart your PC before recording. Otherwise, sometimes you get that, like, unintentional little, like, blur to the video that just happened. That is the YouTuber advice segment from Xander Hall. You're one for the day. You get one a day, chat.
Husbands, while men are expected to lead. On top of that, there's this nostalgic appeal to a past where traditional families were seen as the backbone of society. In conservative thought, sticking to these roles helps preserve stability and order. Fun fact, that is why there is no universal childcare. Reagan didn't want that because he felt like it would make the US a communist state and erode the nuclear family. Ironically, many prominent conservative women in politics and media don't fully fit this mold. They're loud, assertive, and often combative.
Don't let the Democrats take you for granted. Don't let them...
You'll notice that the right has always, or at least for a while now, has supported things that go against their ideals if it, in the end, the ends justify the means, right? For them. And so, I remember when Lauren Southern got really big, her talking points heavily focused on the idea that women belong in the kitchen, and as, like, you know, wives pumping out babies, right? That was a lot of her talking points. And yet she was a 20-something young woman who was unmarried and childless, who was traveling around the world, speaking at events, and building a career as a conservative pundit. And the right absolutely coagulated around her. Massively so. They loved her. Even though she went against everything they believed a woman should do, she was a very influential, popular, conservative pundit who was doing a lot of work to enforce and popularize their ideas. They looked past it. They ignored the fact that she was a young woman throwing her life away, quote unquote, and not having kids.
Step on you.
Okay. Whatever that means.
Yet they still lean into traditional feminine aesthetics, polished hair, makeup, dresses, to maintain an outward appearance of adhering to these ideals. This creates a bit of a paradox. Conservative women in leadership often borrow traits traditionally associated with masculinity to thrive in male-dominated spaces, but they attempt to balance it by presenting themselves in a way that aligns with conservative expectations of femininity. And sometimes it's pretty damn weird. Look no farther than Republican Congresswoman Katie.
Conservative women are indeed fucking weird. Thank you.
Britt's speech in response to Joe Biden's State of the Union.
Good evening, America. My name is Katie Britt, and I have the honor of serving the people of the great state of Alabama in the United States Senate. However, that's not the job that matters most. I am a proud wife and mom of 2 school-aged kids. My daughter Bennett and my son Ridgway are why I ran for the Senate. I'm worried about their future. And the future.
Okay. Chat, I need to tell you something, all right? This is the grand truth, all right? Your eyes, your third eye is about to open, so listen up. Women, all women, all right? Hashtag all women are weird, okay? Every woman that you know on this planet has a weird hyperfixation obsession with something. A hobby, a piece of media, a game, a forum on the internet that's super obscure and odd, something like that they are obsessed with. They think about it multiple times a day at least, and they will never come out to talk to you about it unless they really trust that you will not have your opinion of them changed by learning of this, okay? This is true of every single woman I have ever met, all right? Sounds like autism to me? All women have autism, okay? We all have autism in our own little way, okay? Like every man, every woman, but this is true of every woman, okay? The thing about conservative women is I feel like their weird hyper-obsession, instead of being something like funny or cool, like, I don't know, like taxidermy or like true crime or something normal, like a normal weird obsession, it's all funneled and filtered into conservatism and like weird conspiracy theories and deranged shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like a normal weird thing. It ends up being like this is something I've noticed a lot. Conservatism. Yeah, exactly. I've noticed this a lot.
Future of children in every corner of our nation. President Biden just doesn't get it. He's out of touch. Under his administration, families are worse off.
You lost me there, Xander. You can lie to yourself as much as you like, but if you're a woman, you've got a weird, unconventional hyper interest that's yours. I promise you, it's true. Don't deny it.
Our communities are less safe, and our country is less secure. The country we know and love seems to be slipping away, and it feels like the next generation will have fewer opportunities and less freedoms than we did. This is the United States of America, and it is past time, in my opinion, that we start acting like it. Meanwhile, the Chinese Communist Party is undercutting America's workers. China is buying...
Why does she sound like... Why is she doing her best Firecracker from The Boys Season 4 impression right now? those communists are pushing a agenda on our people. Did she watch, like, the new season of The Boys and just, like, run on being Firecracker? Like, Jesus, dude, it's really on the nose right now. She's from Alabama? That's true. Alabamans just sound like that.
Up our farmland, spying on our military installations, and spreading propaganda through the likes of TikTok. You see, the CCP knows that if it conquers the minds of our next generation, it conquers America.
As one commentator put it,
so true.
This video feels like a Black Mirror episode, and I couldn't agree more. It's like she's...
It's an episode of The Boys, except The Boys, as it turns out, is just a future-telling show.
Being held hostage in a staged IKEA kitchen, and if she doesn't read this message, she'll get kicked off the board of her HOA. It's also insane to hear a well-off politician whose husband is a former NFL player talk about how she's scared for her children's futures because they'll have less opportunities. Yes, because children of politicians and athletes famously struggle to find opportunities. The whole thing reeks of pandering. She's trying way too hard to come across as this empathetic, concerned parent who's just like the rest of you. I shop at Walmart and drive the kids to soccer practice in my Cybertruck. And listen, I know it's not easy to come across as natural when you're reading off a teleprompter. I know that because I'm reading off a teleprompter right now. But the awkwardness in this video can't just be attributed to a teleprompter. It truly feels like Katie Britt is trying to come across as someone she is not, a regular, middle-class mother. It makes sense that she's trying to lean into this character.
To be very clear, I've heard, oh my god, there's so many cases where this is what's going on. So many of these conservative pundits come from money. A lot of them got big by buying ad space. You can absolutely pay your way into prominence as a conservative content creator if you have a bit of money to go in with. YouTube allows you to buy ad space to run your YouTube videos as an ad before other YouTube videos. You guys might know that PragerU did this for a long time. Abby Shapiro, Ben Shapiro's sister, basically built her entire audience off of that. Because if you can force people to be exposed to your content via ads, eventually you'll hoover up enough supporters that are like-minded to you that you'll have basically astroturfed yourself into prominence. And it's been done for a lot of these conservative pundits. And I've noticed there's these, like, ranch-owning, wealthy, rural-living, prominent TikToker, right-winger YouTubers, and Twitter posters that I guarantee you paid for ad space to get themselves to the top of people's feeds. I've noticed this it's how so many of these accounts just materialize out of nowhere and become multi-million follower accounts, particularly on Twitter.
Because Americans are much more receptive to mother candidates rather than their childless peers, as we've seen. Ultimately, Britt came across as trying way too hard. Like, even the names of her children sounded fake.
My daughter Bennett and my son Ridgway.
And if those are fake names,
Bennett and Ridgway are some real fucking, like, conservative... Well, I don't even... You just... Oh, man. Those are some conservative names right there. Bennett and Ridgway. Holy shit. That's crazy. Thought I'd pop in for a bit. Good to have you back, Zan. I was a bit worried there for a while. Congrats on 100K. Yeah, I died, guys. They killed me. They got me, dude. I was gone for 4 days because they got me. No, I was just sick. I'm back. I'm alive. Don't worry. Anyway, yeah, I mean, oh man, I don't want to take any more content from this great creator, so I'm going to highly recommend, once again, that you guys click the link to the original video and go leave a like and some support on it. I left a like myself, and you know what? I'm going to subscribe. There we go. I liked and subbed, just like you should, both on this video and on the original. Went ahead and reposted it there in chat for you guys. I'll post it in the YouTube chat too. Go send some support. What a good video. Finally, someone's talking about the fact that conservative women are fucking weird, dude. About goddamn time. This is a conversation we've been needing to we needed to have had this conversation years ago. It's about time. Anyway, if you enjoyed this segment, if you found it entertaining, educational, or enjoyable, then please consider leaving a like, subscribe, or ring the bell icon on my channel. It really does help a lot. And You know, it boosts the channel, makes sure that people see my stuff in the recommended. Commenting is a big help, even if it's something as simple and dumb like who up Xandering their haul. That's become the meme on my channel. Who up Xandering they haul. Reply to those comments with OMG me, by the way. That's the appropriate reply. But yeah, go ahead and do all the good things. Follow my social medias, link down below in the description. If you want to support me directly, you can subscribe, ring the bell icon, or not subscribe, ring the bell icon. That's not financially, that's for free. You can donate, subscribe, or gift a sub to my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buying merch to the Streamlabs link down below. Regardless, though, of how you support me, thank you so much for watching this segment, and have a good one. Oh, Shadow Raven Studios is back in another alt. I took care of him. Oh, I love that. Putting every time my vape is sitting right in the spot for my fingertip to knock it over right onto my keyboard. One of these days it's gonna hit my my macro for ending stream. Oh shit, I was gonna ask him how his grades are. No, we can't keep Shadow Raven around. He leaked his like lolly porn on his channel. He's not the kind of person we can't have fun with that kind of a degenerate, you know what I mean? Because they're potentially dangerous to have around. Lamau, yeah. Alright. I hope you guys enjoyed that segment. It was a little bit of a rough outro because I haven't done my outro in a hot minute. I had a few days off, a little out of practice. I'm sorry, guys. Did you see Fox News stopped their truce with Hassan? Thank you, chat, for moving out of the way. Truce with Hassan has ended and now has started attacks on Hassan. I didn't know they had a truce with him, but yeah, they've been going after him hard, and with good points, surprisingly. Probably because they don't really need to lie about Hassan to make him look bad. Man, Hassan's a real piece of shit, ain't he? Shadow Raven, more like shit. Nah, I don't know if I can say that. I don't want to be that mean. I wouldn't be wrong to say it though. All right. Let me bring up our next segment, Haruni, shall I? Where is it? Where is it? Oh no! There it is.
Andrew Tate's online university.
Nice. Absolutely no chance of pausing that before it spoiled the topic. Perfect. Great job, YouTube. That's what I pay for YouTube Premium for. That's what I pay for. To not have any control over what the video does. Ever just mute the tab? I always forget Parry Ice Fire. And it's not just mute the tab, because when I click it, it opens in a new tab. And so that wouldn't even work. I would just have to like remember every time to mute Opera on OBS to not have it get spoiled, but I always forget. I know, it's rough. It's rough and tough out here to be a streamer. Hardest job on the planet. No cap. Streaming. It really is. Hardest job on the planet. People working in the oil fields wish that they're glad that they don't have to stream, okay? Hardest job ever. Good job. All right. Can Canada sanction the USA if Trump tariffs them? I genuinely have no idea what's going to go down. If the rest of the world's just going to sit down and take it when Trump tariffs, like, because it's not really going to hurt them so much as it's going to hurt the ability for them to have trade between the U.S. and their countries. And so maybe there'll be retaliation. It's hard to say. Yeah, like I don't know. We need to pour one out for Pastor Dean. He probably got hit by a car or something. No, I think Pastor Dean's just not here because for some reason YouTube does not push my streams. Maybe it's the thumbnails always being the same or something like with the titles or whatever, but my videos will get thousands, hundreds of times, I should say, more impressions in an hour than my streams do when I'm live. And so there's a very low cap on how many viewers I can get on a stream compared to a video, and I have no clue why. It's just completely separate algorithms. The streaming algorithm does not like my streams, so I don't get pushed to even my own subs when I stream, but my videos do really well, like way above average. My streams perform way below average. It's really weird, but my viewer count on streams has absolutely no correlation to my sub count or viewer count on videos. YouTube does not push my streams to any more or less people when my channel's doing worse or better. Do you know if Vosh or Destiny are dealing with that too? No, Gun Invalid, no. Vosh has gotten like over 1,000 viewers concurrent on his stream since he had like 20k subs or 25k subs, I think. So that was one of my first clues that like, there's something going on with my YouTube streams. They don't get pushed to my subs, do they? And when I hit like 50k and was still pulling like 500 viewers, I was like, okay, yeah, there's clearly like some kind of cap on my stream performance. So yeah, I don't really mind it all that much, though. Like, streams don't need to pop off. My videos do fine. It also means that my streams get to be a little more focused and less distracting in terms of the chat. I didn't get notifications for today's stream. About 95 to 99% of my fans don't get notifications for any of my streams. They get notifications for videos, but never streams. It's a completely different algorithm. YouTube's stream algorithm does not like my streams, but YouTube's video algorithm seems to love my videos. Well, I mean, I could read YouTube chat, but no, it's full of cringe. I usually notice you're streaming because you show up as live on the landing page. Yeah, YouTube doesn't recommend my streams. It's a different algorithm entirely for my videos. That's why Discord is the place to be. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. All right. Y'all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. All right, everybody. You all know I love it when bad things happen to bad people. And you know what just happened to Andrew Tate? And his supporters, I should say, as well. His scam pyramid scheme, Hustlers University, was hacked. And the data of hundreds of thousands of users on the site, hundreds of thousands of students on the site, have been leaked. I could not make up a funnier scenario. Besides maybe, like, all their data leaking and it turning out that they're all into, like, trans porn or something. That maybe would be, like, a cherry on top of this situation. Besides that, man, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm laughing internally right now. I've got a video here I was recommended by a channel called No Text-to-Speech. Good name, by the way, because the channel does not seem to use text-to-speech. Called The Andrew Tate Hack is Worse Than You Think. So apparently, I don't know much about this whole situation. I'm going in blind here. I'm excited to find out what's going on, because I really love when karmic justice happens to bad people, and Andrew Tate fans are some of the worst people out there, and they could definitely use some karma catching up with them. Let's check this out.
Andrew Tate's online university called The Real World just got hacked, with 325,000 emails and all their public and private chat logs being leaked. But all these news articles that are covering this are missing two very important...
Who hacked them? Do we know who hacked them? Who did it? I'm sure we're gonna find out. Was it like anonymous or something? Some like OGs or something?
Important things. The first thing is that they don't even have an account to look into the real world because they aren't stupid like me. But the second thing is that I don't think anyone realizes that this hack is way bigger than you think. Now, just to get everyone caught up to speed, if you don't know what the real world is, it's fundamentally a Discord clone. You have channels and you can chat in them. There's a currency system that's a little bit different, but instead of servers, you have campuses, and then in the top left, you have a courses tab where you can go through and watch videos to learn, in my opinion, very fundamental garbage that you shouldn't have to pay $50 a month for, because keep in mind, to join the real world, to go on Andrew Tate's Discord clone, you need to spend $50 a month. Every single person that is on this platform is spending $50 a month. And if it wasn't...
Or more. Let's be real. These Andrew Tate fans, they worship that motherfucker. They're not just paying the minimum to get access to his stuff. They're dropping, in some cases, the maximum that they can because they love him. Zan, what's this channel called again? No text-to-speech.
Obvious, most of the people in here are hustle culture bros that think they're better than everyone else, and I cover all this in a previous video. But in terms of this video, I want to focus specifically on the important stuff.
For those confused about the name, why it's called The Real World, it's the counter to The Matrix. Because the real world is The Matrix, but the little Discord thing he's made is the real world.
The hack. And the first question that everyone has about the hack is, how was the real world vulnerable? How did people figure out how to hack it? And here's the thing, back in my previous video where
lefty hacktivists got him. Oh, it wasn't even like just some random big hacker group. It was a lefty hacker group. That's cool.
I talked about Andrew Tate's Discord clone. When I was looking through their API, I noticed their backends and how everything is set up, their code might have been stolen from an open source Discord clone called Revolt. And if you look in the pinned comments of this video, it actually turns out that the creator of—
Is that stealing then? Because if it's open source, then I think you just said that doesn't mean it's stealing. I think that's a little bit of the wrong tree to bark up when we're considering the fact that, you know, Andrew Tate's entire model is centered around a pyramid scheme and pushing hate in order to make money. I'm pretty sure it's open source, right?
Of Revolt, the owner actually made his own article talking about how Andrew Tate's The Real World is stealing his software. And the thing is—
Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's not open source. Open source doesn't mean it's like on the internet. Open source means it's available for use on people's own software. Like they can take code, they can take the whole of it and modify it for their own needs. So it wasn't open source. It was just available to rip, and he did.
Is that when you steal someone's software, you also steal all of the old vulnerabilities.
You have to credit? Did he not credit at all? Yeah, that would make sense. Andrew Tate wouldn't have credited in any way.
Abilities associated with it, because in the video that I showed, it was using an old version of Revolt. And well, it didn't take long for people to take advantage of those vulnerabilities, because on November 21st, 2024, the Daily Dot posted an article saying hackers breach Andrew Tate's online university. Now, just to understand this hack a lot better, there are two main components of it. The first component is the leaked data, and that's going to have the most impact, but then there's also the second part of the hack where the hackers actually went into the real world and started raiding it and causing a whole bunch of havoc.
Okay, these are the hackers posting this, not— I was gonna say, if these were leaked images from the Discord and it was all, like, trans posting, it would be hilarious how close to right I was about what I said at the opening about the only thing that could make this better. Please tell me they were passing around a shitload of, like, trans porn or something. We know Andrew Tate's preferences. Come on, come on, come on! Please, it would be so funny. It would be so funny. They talk so much shit.
And in the article, they specifically say that the real-world security was described as hilariously insecure, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. And I want to start off with the raid on the real world, because again, I had an account while this was happening. So during one of Andrew Tate's live streams where he pumps crypto coins, yells at the camera, the hackers started their operation in raiding the real world and causing a whole bunch of havoc. So the first thing that the hackers could do on the real world is pretty obvious. They could upload emojis, and the emojis that they uploaded were trans flags. There was Tate with big booty cheeks. There were AI images of Andrew Tate with a rainbow flag because he is very misogynistic and homophobic, which also gives you a pretty good indication why this hack happened. It was more for hacktivism, not to try and make money. But then also there were emojis that were posted that would spell out words. For example, there's this one here that says Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate is a cute gay gooner. Tate is a cutie patootie patootie. Then a blow high. I don't know what flag this is. And a feminism fist. And I think they should have just stopped at Andrew Tate is a cute gay gooner. I think if they just stopped there, that would have been it. I love this, but listen, lefties need to get better at comedy. You did too much here. This is where it could have ended. Just turning Andrew Tate is a cute gay gooner into a meme. That's all you needed, dude. That's all you needed.
Tate is a cute gay gooner. There were more emojis posted that said Tate is a cutie patootie patootie, and finally there were more emojis uploaded that said Tate loves kissing femboys. During the peak of the hack,
Okay, maybe that was the entire thing, and that was just two of them put together. All right, never mind. They cooked.
You close your emoji picker and you open it back up, there would be 10 new emojis every single second. And by the way, these emojis were visible everywhere across the real world. You didn't just have to be on one specific server, it was visible everywhere, and people started noticing. Now the question everyone is asking is, how did they manage to pull this off? And remember how they said everything was hilariously insecure?
The dude with the fucking Keanu Reeves PFP complaining about it. Oh, it's so good.
What they basically did is they opened up their Chrome console and they typed in a command that is almost equivalent to God mode equals 1. And when they entered in the command, they were able to go to the server settings of any server and upload an emoji. There were no checks to make sure if you were admin or anything, anyone could upload an emoji. But let's move on to the second thing that these hackers did, which is a little bit more destructive than showing a whole bunch of homophobic people gay pride. The second thing these hackers could do is they could time out or mute anyone in chat. Because remember that magical God mode equals 1 command? I'm not telling you the exact command because I don't want to get in any legal trouble. But it turns out when you enable this command, you could click on anyone's profile and you would have a little menu at the bottom that would allow you to ban and cancel someone's membership and kick someone. However,
so what I need you guys to understand is this is probably a very easy thing to do to most conservative, like, grift media sites. These projects are all quick cash grab oh my god, I can't speak because I have to burp. All these programs are cheap cash grab grifts, and there's not a lot of, like, even these millionaires are not putting a lot of money into creating a secure website for their grift, right? Like, this is all meant to implode at any moment, and they're all just trying to get every penny they can before it does. That's the expectation for people like this, I have to assume. And so I don't think there was ever an intent to make the site secure, and I think that's probably true of a lot of these right-wing media sites, and I hope that more hacktivist groups start prodding at them in the future, because I really feel like these conservative pundits who are all about just lining their own pockets, like, their websites cannot be that secure. They can't be. It's impossible. This is a great example of how likely it is that they're not.
Both banning and kicking people were properly secured. It would actually check to see if you were, like, someone who had staff privileges. But you know that timeout button? Those rules didn't apply. It turns out you could time out anyone. They managed to time out Andrew Tate on his own account. And there's this dude here, which we can see, it says, verified real-world staff account. This is a staff member, and he was timed out. Now, the thing I want to point out is that in some of the screenshots that I received, in the timeout menu, you can pick a time. And there's this 30-day time, which is highlighted in red. And when you hover over it, it says, timing out someone for 30 days is effectively banning someone. But it's an alternative to banning someone, which means it doesn't cancel your subscription like the ban and cancel membership button does. So you're basically banned, but you're still paying your subscription. That's a little fucked. But
how about that?
Something that wasn't talked about in any article is that the third vulnerability that these hackers could do is they could create any group chat. Now, I'm going to assume none of you know, but in the real world, you need to earn coins to exchange for power-ups. And specifically, there's a power-up that you could purchase called direct messages. Now, to unlock direct messages, you need to be logged in for 9.
You to earn direct messages. What a great app.
90 days, which means at the very least, you would need to spend 3 months worth of subscription to the real world, which is $150, just to DM people on the stupid platform. But what the hackers could do is they could add anyone to a group chat. They didn't even need to spend $150. So theoretically, they could go on a group chat with Andrew Tate and show how much of a fan they are by saying how they want to kiss Andrew Tate on the mouth while rubbing his shiny head like a genie lamp. But the fourth thing that they
So yeah, when we talk about why conservative pundits are so wealthy, it's because these are their supporters. Like, dudes who sit all day buying and selling, like, crypto coins and pump and dumps, making, like, tens of thousands, admittedly. A lot of them are making money because they're in, like, the private communities that know when to pump and when to dump. And so they're making a shitload of money, and a lot of that is being paid back to Andrew Tate. He's basically created an army of crypto investor bots where at least some of their funds are always going to come back to him in the end because they want to say subscribe to the real world.
These hackers could do is they could crash people on the real world. What they would do is they would use the real world's API to send a message. It looks like a normal message, but inside of the message content, it's all malformed and messed up. And what would happen is that if you view...
Yeah, it's called a zip bomb, guys. They're really funny. I've got friends that love to just send each other zip bombs, like to crash each other's PCs for fun. Yeah, be careful with that shit. Yeah, basically, imagine, like, compressed data that once decompressed just instantly crashes your program or computer. Nah, it's a Unicode bomb. Okay, was that what this was instead of a zip bomb? I figured it was like a sent zip bomb that decompressed on people's client the second it got, like, received and just crashed everybody's client. That'd be funny as fuck.
viewed that message, your client would just crash. It would give you a blank screen and you wouldn't be able to use the real world until you went to a different channel on a different device. Now, the final thing that these hackers did, which is the most important part of the hack, is that they were able to view messages both in every single public channel, which really isn't anything important. If you have an account, you can just view all the channels.
Actually, yes. Ride the rails. This is very similar to chunk or book banning someone on 2B2T in Minecraft.
Normally, but they could also view the messages inside of private channels. Now, I'm going to do my best to try and explain on a surface level what's going on, but remember how they said things were hilariously insecure? What these hackers would do is they would get the server ID of the server that they're on, and to get that, you just look inside the URL bar, it's that easy. And using the server ID, they could make a request to the real-world servers where it would list all of the channels inside of the server, all the public channels and all of the private channels. It would list the channel's ID.
Didn't this happen to Discord too, funnily enough? I remember this was like a thing that happened to Discord once, if I'm not mistaken. I remember people were panicking about this, and it was like, what do y'all have to hide on your Discord servers that you're afraid of them being publicly findable? I guess I get the idea of your privacy being broken is kind of fucked, but it was just so bizarre how like the entire internet panicked about this. It's like, what do you have that people want to see? I don't know.
Which is this chunk of text up here. Now, using both the server ID and the channel ID, you could send a request to the real-world servers to get the messages inside of that specific channel. It didn't matter if it was a private channel, you were just given access to the messages. No security checks, hilariously insecure. And that was the most important thing that these hackers did, because with all of that data, they published it. Because according to a tweet by VX Underground, they noted that the content of the data breach was given to a non-profit organization, DDoS Secrets, and is available for anyone to review. And just to give you a scale on how much information are in these data leaks, it is actually f***ing ginormous. So just to give you a frame of reference, to download all of the leaked data from Andrew Tate's The Real World, it is 14.10
gigabytes. That is 5 times bigger, almost 5 times larger than classic WoW, for reference, by the way. Just to give you guys like a little perspective on how much data that is nearly 3 times the total data of the download and install of vanilla classic World of Warcraft on your PC.
14.1 gigabytes. 14 gigabytes of just raw text files. There is so much information in these leaks, it's actually nuts. There's 221 public and 395 private chat channels. Apparently they generate $5.6 million a month. Christ. But inside of the contents of these leaks, if you want to look further into it, there's both private channels.
It's almost entirely text files too, so it's like an absurd amount of data. Because it's not even mostly images that are like kind of inflating it a bit. It's text.
Channels and public channels, and inside of the private channels, you have the private channels of each one of the campuses or the servers, and all of this is hosted on the clear internet. You don't need to go on the dark web. It's just available for anyone on the internet to sift through. It is a treasure trove of information that is going to have way bigger consequences than you think. And just to give you an example on how big the consequences of this data,
I wonder if this is going to end up helping the case against him for the sex trafficking and rape
breaches. I'm going to give you a couple of examples that are, I want to say probably, but 100% this is going to occur. It's just inevitable. But the first thing is that according to Have I Been Pwned, which is a website that shows you if your information has been exposed in a data breach, in the Andrew Tate data breach, they added 324,000 email addresses. If you are someone that wants to scam someone, this is basically 324,000 potential victims that you can scam.
You know what's great about it too? It's going to be such giga karma because they're all falling for a scam. These are hundreds of thousands of people who fell for Andrew Tate's scam. So when they receive a scam email or a scam tweet or something like that, they're way more likely than the average person to actually fall for it and end up getting scammed even more. They're excellent marks. That's a good way of putting it, Princess Kristen. Okay, so these leaked, I wouldn't be surprised if those leaked emails are going to be like a golden treasure trove for the scamming community online. Like, just a free list of extremely, like, probably well-off and easy targets.
These are the same people that spent $50 to go on an Andrew Tate chat platform. And these people are also probably interested in cryptocurrency like Andrew Tate, which means they are prime targets to be scammed in cryptocurrency scams. But
dude,
that's
you know
just
what?
the tip of...
Dude, I've never watched this YouTuber before. Highly recommend you go check him out. This dude is thinking the same shit that I'm thinking. I always love that. It always tells me this creator's on my wavelength. You know, I highly recommend you check out this channel. No text-to-speech. Good video.
Of the iceberg, because Andrew Tate has something called the War Room, which are a whole bunch of dudes that meet up with Andrew Tate and stuff, but you can see from these pictures that all their faces are blurred out. And the reason why these faces are blurred out is because to get into Andrew Tate's War Room, you need to spend $8,000, which...
Once again, when I tell you It's not that these guys are losers giving Andrew Tate all their money. These guys are wealthy. These guys are wealthy and in some cases powerful people. When you imagine being able to afford to pay this for anything. Like, imagine if you had a fucking rent bill come in that was this expensive. Would you be able to pay it? I don't know if I would, because holy shit. Like, these are people who have this much money set aside to pay for joining the war room with Andrew Tate.
Which means that everyone in these photos that have their face blurred, they are rich enough to spend $8,000 to hang out with Andrew Tate. If these people's faces weren't blurred and you were a scammer, this would be a treasure trove of people that you could try to phish and scam, extort, sim swap, anything. But a viewer of mine dug through all of these data leaks and they actually found a link to a Google Drive containing the raw videos of these war room meetups. Raw videos as in these people's faces are unblurred and just visible to the public. The people in the war room would do Zoom calls with each other talking about life, and in the video on the side you could see people's names in the call list. So you have a name, you have a face. That is already plenty for you to work from if you're trying to scam people out of money, and especially these guys because they are clearly well off. And things get even worse because if you figure out your target's username, you can go through all of these data leaks.
Karma is karma.
And find every single message that they have ever sent, and you can stalk them. And the issue with people on the real world is that since they paid $50, they feel like they're part of this community, and they get a little too personal. Here's a message that I found just today that someone took from their balcony. You could figure out where this dude lives if you're good at geoguessing, and he's dumb enough to spend $50 a month on Andrew Tate's course. He probably has some cryptocurrency money, and now you know where he lives. You can extort him for money that...
What do you mean, dude? I gave Andrew Tate $50. What do you mean I shouldn't post pictures of my house here? It's not secure? But the only way to see this is if you pay $50. You got to be a real Andrew Tate fan to get in here. What do you mean I can't trust my God King top G Andrew Tate? He would never fuck me over.
That he clearly has. And if your email is part of the data breach, you're basically cooked. Now, I do want to clarify because I don't think people have understood this yet, but the emails that are in this data breach specifically were found in a private log channel. In one of the private channels in the real world, they would log when people get banned. So it would say this person got banned, it would show their email, and it would show a ban reason. And who would have guessed it, but the people on the real world that are moderators are exactly like Reddit mods, because there were people that were banned for talking bad about the real world on Twitter. But most of the bans in that log channel that included those emails are from people that would get automatically banned. Because if you canceled your subscription, then you would get banned from the real world, and then your email would get sent, and now that email is in a data breach. But again, like I said, there is 12 gigabytes of just raw...
I wonder if that was purposeful, that they would have, like, the data of people who decided to stop paying Andrew Tate's, like, stuff as available as possible if there was ever a data breach, just gathered up and kept in a database.
Text data. Since there's so much data there, it's going to take a lot of time for these journalists to dig deep into this data and find out bigger and bigger story expose pieces. But in the future, you could
by the way, free speech, am I right?
Actually have law enforcement or crypto investigators like CoffeeZilla or Zach XBT analyzing this data breach. And remember, they have the chat logs of almost every single channel inside of the real world. But if Andrew Tate is setting up an illegal crypto operation or sent a message orchestrating pump and dumps to help his most devoted fans make money, all of those will be hidden somewhere in that private chat logs. If I was Andrew Tate, or if I was anyone in the real world, I would be very, very worried right now. And that's where we get to Andrew Tate's response on the matter. Because on Twitter, Andrew Tate he just straight up downplayed everything. He made a tweet saying, we hacked his school and saw the chat.
That nothing bad has happened. All charges dropped. He's completely fine, and it's just the Matrix going after him, and he will win. You keep giving him money because he will win.
Of his 800,000 members. The chats are public. You literally just bought a membership and logged in and read the rooms, call that a hack, and then he just goes on a complete rant. I, as someone who has a real world subscription for only 1 month because I'm not paying $50 again, but I'm only able to access public channels, not private ones, and those private channels are included in the data breach. So this tweet is completely downplaying everything. But here's the thing, Andrew Tate also made a second public comment talking about this hack, because on November 23rd at 7:52 a.m., he made an announcement saying, fake news alert at students, the real world has never lost name.
Can't get into drama if you live in a post-truth world. Whatever Andrew Tate says is the truth. There can be no scandals because Andrew Tate says there isn't one. It's all made up. Your data's fine, guys. Keep giving me money. Stay on the site. Don't worry about it. It's the Matrix. They're trying to trick you.
Names, addresses, credit card details, or any personal private data in its history. We got Matrix attacked, and some nerds played with our new custom emoji functionality. The chats inside the real world are public to any paying member, but that's obvious. How is that a hack? Again, the same argument he made in his tweet, which is just outright incorrect. However, there's an even bigger hack that everyone missed, because according to a news article by Cybernews, Andrew Tate's The Real World exposes 22 million user messages, and this was back in July 1st, 2024. Turns out the real world's MongoDB database was just not secure. Whoops, that just happened. And the information included were people's user IDs, their email, and that's for every single single person in the real world. It would also show the password reset token for every single account. If you knew Andrew Tate's user ID, which you can easily find, or if you knew Andrew Tate's email, which again is public, you could look for his account, get his password reset token, reset his password to something, and you could take control of his account and, I don't know, promote a scam cryptocurrency, scam a whole bunch of people. You could delete everything. Things could have been much worse. However, this exploit was then fixed because all they had to do was just set a password on the thing. Now, going back to Andrew Tate's post on the Real World talking about the actual data breach, he says the real world is secure. And, well, is it? It does seem like they fixed a couple of issues. They for sure fixed the emoji upload, so no more gay pride parades on Andrew Tate's The Real World, so I'm quite disappointed. But it also seems like they patched the vulnerability.
Damn, dude. What? Damn, they escaped the boy kisser rebellion.
That allows people to view the messages inside of private channels. In my opinion, this is not really an accomplishment, because remember, it was quoted that the platform is hilariously insecure. There are going to be a bunch of people that are going to poke and pry at this platform and try to find other problems. If you are someone that is thinking about poking and prodding into the real world, I just want to give you a massive heads up. But I was contacted by one of my viewers, but what they did is they reported a bug to the real world, which allowed you to go into the real world without paying $50 a month. And when my viewer reported that bug, two important things happened. The first thing is that they were promised a bug bounty. They were promised money for disclosing this bug responsibly and not abusing it and giving people a whole bunch of free The Real World accounts. A month later, Andrew Tate's goons just completely ghosted him and deleted all of their chats. So he didn't get paid. And the second thing that they did is that they didn't even fix the bug that the guy reported. So with all that combined together, I genuinely, if you are on The Real World, I would not listen to Andrew Tate downplaying the situation and calling it fake news. But most of the...
Listen, that is literally Andrew Tate's go-to method. For those that don't know, there was some, like, very minor clerical error made in the prosecution's case, one of the prosecution's cases against Andrew Tate for the sex trafficking of minors and all that. And it's, like, a very basic thing, like, reword something in the paperwork and you're good. And, of course, like, the judge, you know, asked that that be done. And so, of course, when any road bump whatsoever is made and the prosecution's, goal of imprisoning Andrew Tate, Tate and his fans blow it up as like, charges are all dropped, Andrew Tate is free. So it's like, for the 500th time now, supposedly all the charges have been dropped and Andrew Tate is free. That has never been the case. Not when he was let off of house arrest or put on house arrest and let out of jail. That was literally just due to the holding laws in Romania. Like, any time something like that happens, he comes out to say, all charges dropped, see, I'm innocent, they could never have held me, but then it's right back to claiming victim because the charges were never dropped. Like, it's just the Matrix, guys. It's just the Matrix. You can't trust your eyes or reality. Or the government or the police or the news or anything. It's all the Matrix. Trust nothing but the right-wing influencer with no accountability and give him money. That's the message of Andrew Tate's entire movement. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, found it educational, enjoyable, or entertaining, then please consider leaving a like, subscribe, and ring the bell icon, and comment down below. It really does help a ton. Helps to enforce the fact that YouTube will push my content in the algorithm and get it out to more people. Hell, you can comment anything that you like, even if it's something silly, like, who up Xandering they haul? And then if you want to reply to that, you could just say, OMG me. And of course, if you want to see more from me on other platforms, make sure you follow my social medias, linked down below, especially my Blue Sky account I've started to get more active on, as that is like the new Twitter now. And don't forget to join my fan Discord. It's totally free to join. It's the main hub of my community and fan base, and I also announce all my new uploads and streams there, so make sure that you guys hop in and get on in there before, you miss... Tomorrow I'm doing a watch party, so make sure you join for that, in fact. But yeah... if you want to support me directly, financially, help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then consider subscribing, gifting a sub, or donating on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me financially through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buy some merch, the Streamlabs link down below. Regardless of how you support my channel, though, thank you so much for watching as always, and I hope you have a good one. How do you guys like that segment? I feel like it came out really good. I feel like that was a good segment. Andrew Tate getting pwned? That's what I'm here for. That's what it's all about. That's right, I said pwned. I've been playing Classic WoW. Good Seggy as always? Hell yeah. I thought you're ending stream. Nope, not ending stream. We've still got quite a few topics to cover. That was just the end of that segment. Doing good, how are you? I hope you're doing good. Segment end, not stream end, indeed. However, I do need to use the restroom, so I'm going to take a break to do that in between segments here. I'm going to use the restroom and probably grab myself... Do I grab myself a monster? Nah, I think I'll save it for tomorrow. I think I'm going to save the monster for tomorrow. I think I can make it through this stream without a monster energy. I'm going to do it. I'm debating going for a cool white lion hunter pet or to go for a wind serpent as my DPS pet. Ooh. Ooh. I'd say a lion. I think a white lion would go hard. Or white tiger. Zan, what's your favorite monster flavor? Original. It's all I drink. I don't drink any other flavor of monster. I don't like them. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some incredibly damning evidence in those private chats. I hope there is. I hope we find out that they're doing some awful shit and they get exposed and it all goes burning down to the ground. I wish nothing but ill upon them. Xander Hall, White Lion is cool, but Wind Serpent is generally better because it has range attacks. It should be a gopher. Hank the gopher is... Yeah. Alright, chat. I'll be right back. I need to use the restroom. I will be here again momentarily. BRB, don't go anywhere, okay? Stay tuned.
What in God's green earth is a kilometer, goddammit? Chat, I don't understand. What the fuck is a kilometer?
Hey guys, how you doing? I have returned. Bladder 100,000% empty and feeling real good about it too. Alright. Let me bring up my Google Drive really fast because I need to send the segments we've recorded already to my editor. I've forgotten to do that. Man, my nose is giving me the itch today. I do love the itch. Is theater today? Are we doing a watch party today? No, there won't be a watch. Oh my gosh, my nose. What's going on? It's like one little errant nose hair is deciding to get all ticklish. No watch party today because it's Thanksgiving and I feel like a lot of people are spending time with their family right now. However, we will definitely be doing a watch party tomorrow night. Oh my god, I hate it. I hate it. I need to shave. That's what it is. My mustache hairs are tickling like the bridge of my nose here. When occasional one just kind of sticks up. Like there's one right here, I think. Are sticking up and causing me that itch. I hate it. I meant to shave today too before stream and I couldn't find my electric shaver. I literally looked around. I didn't remember until I got in the shower. So I was like, got out of the shower, wrapped myself in my towel and started walking around and I couldn't find it. And I was just like, man, I'm cold. I'm just gonna get back in the shower. I'll shave tomorrow. Fuck it. Dude, I watched the From finale and the Arcane finale. Man, was I eating good. I'm excited for us to watch party the 2 finale episodes of From tomorrow. The show's not going to be the same after the finale episode, is all I'm going to say. People are going to, probably consider Season 3's finale, the end of an era for the show and the start of the next one. Probably the last one, because the show's only meant to have 5 seasons. It's been renewed for Season 4, though, so that goes hard. It looks like it will successfully be able to run until its proper planned ending. I've heard some mostly positive but critical reviews of the Arcane finale. Oh my god, my nose itch is insane! Yeah, I'd say the Arcane finale felt a little rushed if you genuinely consider it an ending, but it's not. As the creators have come out to say, it's just sort of the first chapter in that world that they're covering. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to point things out in the finale that happened, that, assuming they were the end of characters, it would probably have not been very fulfilling, but it does not seem like it is. So we'll see. We'll see. All I'll say is, there are characters that are presumed dead in Arcane that are just certainly not. By the end, like main characters that are quote-unquote dead that are just definitely not dead. Since it's bugged out for me a few times, or it won't let me post anything even though I'm signed in and I have to exit out, that's really weird. I hope the site's not being weird for anybody else like that. I watched all of Season 2 with my friends in one go, and I can say with 100% certainty that I am never going to play League. Real. That's a good opinion to have. Do not be tempted by the evil. Arcane is amazing, but don't be tempted into evil. You don't want to end up like Victor. Alright. Let me name and upload these segments really fast. No. That's not what I wanted to do. I just wanted to open it, please. There we go. Alright, yeah, that's that video. Rename. Urgent. What do we title that segment about? How about conservative women are just weird. In parentheses. Just in parentheses, so Ethan knows what I'm talking about. Reacting to a video about why Republican women all look like that. Simple. That's all I need to say. And this one's about the Andrew Tate. Yeah, it's the Andrew Tate one. Name. Andrew Tate's got hacked. How about that? Just Andrew Tate got hacked, ... I feel like that goes hard. And then in parentheses... Watching a vid about Andrew Tate's website getting hacked and user data leaked. Alright. Gonna upload those two. And hopefully it doesn't, uploading 2 segments at a time doesn't hurt my internet too bad and that it, affects my stream. It shouldn't, though. It hopefully shouldn't. The real world gets hacked, no context? No, trust me, Andrew Tate got hacked, ... is a really good title, I think. Hey Xanderhall, I know the politics stuff is really important, but have you ever thought about fixating more on the social aspect of it, since that's where the right does... That's what the right does that's attracted more normies and young people? I do both. I talk about, like, the real politics shit and the policy stuff, but I also give attention to the social stuff that's, like, a little more culture war-y. It used to be the opposite complaint, right? When I first started, people said I didn't talk enough about policy and like, deep politics, and that I talk too much about the culture war social stuff. Now I get the opposite complaint. I guess we need to find, like, a good middle ground between the two, but I feel like I already have. But if you guys think I need to cover more of the dumb shit conservatives talk about, then for sure. I can up that side of the scale a little bit, increase the weight a little. I feel like you already have a good balance. I appreciate it, Ride the Rails. Thank you. Alright. Let's see. Let me get the next segment ready. Nice, I was able to pause that one. Woo! Let's go! Based. Alright. Y'all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. Man, this story doesn't even sound real. Is this real? When did this happen? I've been recommended this multiple times. 3 weeks ago, so this is recent, and it's from an official outlet. This is not clickbait, apparently, but Kentucky, a city in Kentucky, will apparently no longer exist after voters dissolve its government. Now, obviously, the land isn't going to, like, disappear, but the government, and thus the city in general, officially will no longer exist because the people there, I'm guessing being so conservative, have been so convinced government bad that they voted to dissolve the local government. When I tell you that Americans are brain dead and will mobilize on the most horrific causes you can imagine, I mean it, okay? You've got to be running on the most damaging, destructive, horrible policies imaginable to bring out the level of support that happens in these cases, right? Like, look at Marjorie Taylor Greene winning in a landslide every election she does, for instance, right? Good Lord, I am curious to see how real this is.
Small Kentucky town will soon be no more. An audit from Election Day confirmed that Bonneville, Kentucky, voted to dissolve their local government by only...
So what will that area be called now? Just blank Kentucky? Kentucky going anarchist? I promise you, if you told them they were going anarchist, they would shoot you. They believe they're going MAGA, pro-American libertarianism, ooh-rah, ooh-rah, red, white, and blue right now. I promise you. They do not believe they're going, like, anarcho-communist by any means. They would shoot you if you suggested it.
7 votes.
Yep, it was close. It's leaving residents with many questions on what will happen to City Hall, the roads, the street lights. It's all happening in northern Hart County, where Bonneville is located, a community where just over...
It is very possible that I have been to this location in Project Zomboid.
200 Kentuckians call home. Jose Alonso has the story.
Actually, probably not, because there's the river, and that's Louisville. And so, like, Rosewood would be around here, maybe, if I were to guess. Like, around here would be Rosewood. And I think the map border is, like, around here. So I think Bonnieville is just a bit too south to be in the Project Zomboid map. Big oof.
200 Kentuckians call home. Jose Alonso has the story.
Just off I-65, you'll see a welcome sign for Bonnieville, Kentucky, which was established
Not
in
for long.
1958. But by next month, it'll be removed. So will the banners hung up on light.
Wait, that's so based. Okay, I thought a lot of, like, the city stuff would just be left to rot and no one would be paid to get rid of it, but apparently they're taking it all down. The city's just not going to be a city anymore. Nice. Good shit, guys. Good job, Kentuckians. You're doing great.
I can feel my T levels decreasing every time I hear you talk.
Thank you, Chet. I appreciate your input in YouTube chat.
Poles on the main road.
We're making history. Sad history, but we're making history.
This map shows the current city limits of Bonnieville. But within the next 29 days, this map will be irrelevant as the city will dissolve and become part of Hart County. On Election Day, residents...
Listen, the reason why we do not offer any sympathies to the people who voted for this or for Trump that are affected by it is that you need to constantly remember, after they won, they rubbed it in your face, okay? They used it as grounds to insult you, like that gentleman who I just banned. Don't feel any sorrow or sympathy for them when they start finding out because they fucked around. Let them find out, and laugh at them as they do.
Believed a majority voted against dissolving the city, but a second audit revealed it actually passed with 60 people voting no and 67 voting yes.
I'm gonna guess voter turnout in that small town is not very high. Well, that's what happens when you don't turn out to vote, I guess. Even in your local elections, you might get the news in the morning that your city is dissolving its local government because you didn't turn out to vote. And you and like 10 other people could have changed that.
Mayor Marie Whitlow says an influx of new residents from other states started this petition to avoid paying city taxes.
How much you want to bet it's people who are conservative moving from cities to find cheap land, and they're voting to dissolve the local government to get rid of the taxes, too? They moved away from Louisville, or a bigger city, into like a much more rural area for cheaper cost of living, and then on top of that, they voted in a place that they aren't even from to dissolve the local government so they wouldn't have to pay the city's taxes. Like property tax, probably, would be like... Good God. Most counties have a place city taxes go to if you don't pay to a specific city that you are in. In King County, for example, it's Kent taxes if you're not incorporated into a city. What's wrong with her eye? I don't attack her. She's not like a bad guy in this story. She might have had a stroke at some point. Why are you making fun of her?
I don't know what it is about paying taxes.
But she was literally just halfway through a blink. It was just a bad pause frame, dude. Come on, MILF Slayer. What's the rudeness?
Lowest rate in Hart County on property taxes. And they just got all mad one time, got together, a little community up behind the school, mainly, and decided to do away with the city.
No city government.
I want to, like, pack up all my things and move to some, like, podunk 300 pop town in the middle of America and, like, become the mayor of the town by moving my fans out, convincing my fans to move to the town and vote for me for local mayor. And then I basically want to become like Boyd and From, but of the town, you know? Like I'll like walk around the town every sunset ringing a bell just for the fun of it. And I want to be such a small town. Not only am I guaranteed to win a leadership position, but everyone will know me and I'll know everyone. That shit would just go hard. I feel like that's doable. Not beating those sex cult allegations, Zan? Oh yeah, and then we just turn it into like IRL, or as if it wasn't IRL in the first place. We just turn it into like Lefty Waco. Yeah. Yeah, Xandertown.
Means no local funds for events like their annual 4th of July celebration. Organizer Kimberly Edwards says it's disheartening.
The city sponsored my insurance, and the insurance to shut down the roads and have the parade is very expensive. Right now it's $1,000 just for insurance in the band. And you know, that's not all the expenses for 4th of July, but...
Come to Missoula and be my mayor. What's the pop there?
They were a big help this year.
The local government has 30 days from Wednesday to clear City Hall and determine what items like computers will go to the county. I met with the petition's author who says their group does not want to be on camera or gloats about the win. Even with the city dissolving, there's still a chance for them to reestablish themselves in the future. In Bonneville, Jose Alonso, WHAS 11 on your side.
Gotta understand, Americans will mobilize on the worst imaginable ideas and movements. It's why I need you guys to understand that class consciousness is not the proper way forward for the left. Not on its own, I should say. Class consciousness is good, but I feel like hyper focusing on that as a way of reaching people just opens you up to like right-wing populists, like using the same rhetoric but with a tinge of right-wing culture war shit to get people like half the way there already, you know? Oh man, there's this great meme. European farmers meme. It is actually insane how many times this meme has been proven right. It is actually insane. From the account God Hates Flags. Not the F slur, but I assume this... I'm going to guess like a gay person runs this account based on the context. European farmers mobilizing on the worst political cause you've heard of in your life. And it's like the walking towards the camera scene from Monsters, Inc. Yeah, so this is so fucking real. And I need you to understand, obviously farmers, you could argue they're not even working class, but the thing about farmers is even if they make a massive amount of money, so much of their money is reinvested back into making more for the next season. That like most farmers, even if they're making millions, they're not taking home anywhere close to that, right? And so most farmers identify as working class, and working class messaging they think applies to them at least. And so with that in consideration, like you will see working class groups appealed to and mobilizing on the worst possible ideas, because at the end of the day, I don't see the left using class consciousness to mobilize people in the same way the right does, you know? Most farmers don't actually even make that much. Many individual farmers are basically serfs, while in the US, I think that's true. Man, I think it depends on what you consider farmer. I'm curious. Average U.S. farmer income. The average income for a U.S. farmer varies depending on the type of farm and the sources of income, but there is some information about farm income. Median total household income is usually around $95,000 to $74,000 a year. Well, there you go. Yeah, so they absolutely would be considered working class. Obviously, median means like you're accounting for like what's the most common middle of the road, not the average. Okay, yeah. Apparently it varies a lot based on farm costs, farm type, farm size, median off-farm income, and median, like there's a lot of other factors here, but yeah, for the most part, farmers are considered pretty working class, and despite that, they will mobilize in numbers unforetold in order to vote against their best interests or to shut down programs and institutions that directly help them.
Now, we reached out to Hart County Judge Executive Joe Code about this situation, and he says, with the city of Bonneville's decision to dissolve and transfer its assets to the county, we will be taking over the maintenance of the city streets, which will become county roads. While the county doesn't handle street lights, we are committed to work closely with everyone involved during this change.
Small Kentucky.
I'm sure this small Kentucky town, as they say, will be given plenty of treatment and support from the county, and they will not come to regret their vote to dissolve their local city government by any means. I'm curious what the I'm curious what the comments are. I thought this was an Onion article. There are a lot of comments to this that are all saying I thought this was an Onion article. Man, we really are living in a post-truth world. People are willing to vote for the worst things now. And I genuinely don't know what our next election in 2026 is going to look like. I don't. I don't know what it's going to look like, those midterms. It could be another really bad one, or hopefully the American people feel the results of a Trump presidency fast and they attribute blame to the right people, because I will literally rip my hair out on stream if for the first time in history Americans are able to blame a previous administration for what would be presumed the failures of the current one, but they blame it on Biden instead of Trump. If they do that shit, if they finally start blaming, the American people at large start blaming a previous administration for current problems, and it's to benefit Trump, I will tear my hair out. I genuinely, my brain will genuinely break if that happens. I won't be able to do this anymore. I will have lost to the last shred of faith I had in humanity if that's what ends up happening. They will, you better get ready to pull that hair out, Zan. It's inevitable at this stage. Well, don't doom her. We can't see the future. I'm just telling you what I'll do if that ends up being the case. Why not call them out? I mean, that's what I'll be doing. Did I ever say I wouldn't? Did I ever say I wouldn't? Anyway, with all that said, I appreciate you guys watching this segment. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like, subscribe, ring the bell icon, and comment as well. All these things do immense good to help my channel and the algorithm and force YouTube to show my stuff to more people, especially if you're watching live right now. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Seriously, it's hugely helpful. And of course, if you haven't already as well, consider following my social medias, linked down below in the description. You've got my Instagram, my Twitter, my Discord, my Blue Sky, which I'm getting a lot more active on, my Patreon, everything. Go check out my social medias. You can see more from me on other platforms. And if you haven't already, you should consider supporting me directly if you want to help me keep the lights on, a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, by donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or supporting me financially through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buying merch through the Streamlabs link down below. But regardless of how you support me, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I hope you have a good one. Bye, everybody. Alrighty. How do you guys like that segment? I feel like it came out really good. A short one, but a sweet one, I'd say. I got the Onion's physical newspaper. It's great. I should subscribe to that. That's actually really funny. I would love to have like a stack of those on my coffee table when people come over. Chat. Since I live alone, and, God, buying a big-ass turkey and making a Thanksgiving dinner, like, why would I do that, right? Instead, do you guys want to know what I'm going to make myself for Thanksgiving dinner tonight? I am going to pan-fry just a ton of tilapia. I know fish sounds weird for Thanksgiving, but don't judge me for that, okay? I'm eating what I enjoy. I'm going to be pan-frying just a ton of tilapia after stream today. My mouth is watering thinking about it, and I'm tempted to end stream now and go do it. But my Thanksgiving dinner is going to be a big old plate of tilapia. It's going to be great. My dad and I made pork stew, no regrets, way better than turkey. My mom and grandma taught me how to make a damn good turkey, like a real, like, moist, tender turkey, one that doesn't even need stuffing or not stuffing, gravy to dip in. And I love turkey. I love Thanksgiving turkey. It's just like, why would I do that whole process this year when it's just me right now? You know what we need lefties to mobilize around? Getting ranked choice initiatives onto the ballot where an org out there working on it. There is an org out there working on it, and I plan to volunteer this year. Hell yeah, Leakai, I like that. I love tilapia, dude. It's great. Ooh, post it to Blue Sky. I want to see the tilapia feast. Oh, hell yeah, I could probably do that, Circuit Dog. To me, turkey is hit or miss. The texture is often weird. I like it. Fun fact, tilapia is a common fraud fish for fake cod in the grocery store. Well, I buy it as tilapia, so I assume it's tilapia. It's a very cheap fish, which is partially why it's healthy, but it's cheap, and so I have a taste for it. You know, I really like it. All right. I got a good segment for you guys up next. Whew. Boop 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 boo boop 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 boo boop boop boop. 1 second, chat. I'm trying to find the fucking video. Here it is. No, that's not it. Damn. Similar thumbnail though. I'm scrolling through the video recommendeds. Stand by. Stand back and stand by. My little pug chips. Stand back and stand by. Alright. Alrighty. Y'all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. Guys, if you don't know who this is, then you are sorely out of the loop and have been for a while. This here is a legend, a YouTube legend, Hank Green. Good. Where do I even start about this guy? Many of you might remember him from SciShow or Crash Course. You might know him as the co-founder of VidCon, and just all-around great guy who's been doing content on his own channel. I mean, he's done guest speaking things on the Discovery YouTube channel and on PBS Eons and just the PBS YouTube channels. Your teachers have probably shown you his videos in class. I get to see his videos in English class? Based. He is a genuine legend within the YouTube sphere as like just a reasonable, likable, smart, edutainment YouTuber. And not only has he sparked an interest in learning from me, but from countless other people. And so when he makes a video about a topic related to politics, I lock the fuck in. Because this guy knows what he's talking about. And he's good at talking about it. Now here I've got a video that he's made, and I've been recommended, that the topic immediately appealed to me, just right out the gate. Populism, media revolutions, and our terrible moment. I'm guessing this video is about the state of misinformation and mistruth that we are in right now due to the internet, and I cannot think of a better person to talk about this than him, because it truly... I have argued for a few years now that the internet may truly be what destroys our civilization, like just destroys humanity. Like, it allows people to decide what is the truth so subjectively to the point where not enough people are together on the idea that we ought to preserve ourselves anymore. Like, it just ends humanity because, like, misinfo and mistruths just become the norm. I'm curious to see if Hank thinks it'll go that far or what the deal is. I have not seen this video yet, obviously, but I've been recommended it, so let's go check this shit out. Hit me up, Hank Green. What do you got to say?
John, in this video, I would like to try to explain what the hell is going on, which, I know, is a tall order and is going to be imprecise, but we're going to do our best. Everyone lives through unprecedented times, but a thing I keep thinking, especially when I'm looking down at an 8-year-old boy who's probably going to be alive in the year 21...
That is a good way of putting it. Everyone lives through unprecedented times. That's not wrong. Everyone says, why do I keep living through historical events? But we kind of, like, no matter what, you always are. You know, we always have, we always will. Yo, Tara Thompson, thank you so much for the tier 2 sub over on YouTube. I really appreciate it. That's so kind of you. You didn't say anything, but you're based in Pog, and I really appreciate you. Thank you.
100 is how weird is this really? How weird is his life going to be? And John, I'd like to make the case that very. Like, his life is going to be historically weird. My son is going to grow up in a world that has been fractured by a set of circumstances that the world has not seen for more than 500 years. Now, media technologies absolutely do evolve and change, and there are new ones all the time, but I'd like to start, if you will forgive me, talking a little bit about radio, which I think we think of radio as one of the most boring communications technologies there is, just a way to get music that we didn't pick, interspersed by ads that are at least locally relevant. So let's put ourselves into the minds of people back in the early 1900s. It's hard to over-exaggerate how powerful radio was when it first hit, which was not 500 years ago. We're going to get there. We're starting with radio. Radio was invented in the 1890s, but it wasn't until the 1920s that lots of people started having radios.
I think it's key that we keep in mind that radio's conception, well, it was definitely a big deal in regards to, like, opening the American people, or just people in general, not just America, but people across the world up to, like, communication in a way that was never possible before. There was usually, like, regulation. Sure, anyone could, like, I think buy the ability or a license to broadcast, I think, but, like, it could be revoked. You could do things that would get you taken off the waves, right? Like, wasn't that always a thing? So I feel like there was a standard that had to be met, you know? Like, there was always your War of the Worlds type deal where people were falling for bullshit and killing themselves, believing the world was ending. But I feel like overall, there was a higher standard of truth, even in the early radio, than what we see nowadays on the internet, where millions, I should say more accurately, tens or even hundreds of millions of people get their news exclusively from fully unaccountable media figures on the internet. And when I say unaccountable, I need you to think about this. These right-wing figures are genuinely unaccountable. They can lie and shit talk and, like, scam as much as they want, and unless they break the law, there's no one there to hold them to account. Joe Rogan even, like hell, Spotify did, like, what was called the Great N-Word Purge among Joe Rogan fans, where, because they did that big exclusive deal, Spotify had to send editors back into all, like, thousands of episodes of Joe Rogan going back years, or a decade plus, to remove all the instances where Joe Rogan says the N-word, because it wouldn't vibe well with the advertisers. And of course, obviously, Spotify knew of all this. They knew what kind of creator he is. They paid for it anyway because he's so popular. And so these platforms are willing to cover for the bad behavior of people that make them a lot of money in the tech world. And there's just no accountability. And I don't think that's comparable to really any other time in history. Like, this crossover of zero accountability and ultimate reachability of as many people as possible. Like it's an insane intersection of circumstance.
In their homes, and by the 1930s, they were cheap and easy to get. And I need you to imagine for a moment how extremely weird this technology must have been. For most people, the radio was the first time in their lives that they heard music without the musician being physically near to them. That was the world less than 100 years ago. But more relevant here, it was the first time that one person's voice could reach millions of people, and it could do that in real time. In fact, at first, it could only do that in real time. This was all happening at the same time as the Great Depression. People had good reasons to be pretty dissatisfied with their situations, and this wasn't just an American thing. Europe was also struggling, especially Germany, which
I'm going to guess there was a rise of populism over the radio, right? Great Depression, massive form of communication. I'm going to guess a bunch of populist dipshits started radicalizing people to the right over the radio. That's my guess.
Been hit hard by having...
That's the state of radio now, obviously. Like, talk radio right now is hard right-wing. That's like grounds we lost decades ago. Before I was born, we lost that arena.
To pay reparations to the winners of World War I, though how much that contributed to things is apparently debated by historians, of which I am not one. People were not in great places. There was demand for, people wanted things to blame their circumstances on. And for a few reasons, radio was much better at satisfying that demand than newspapers. Newspapers had been around for a long time. They were more expensive. You had to pay for them every time you wanted a new one. There was also more regulation and structure around them. People had built up an understanding that newspapers were sometimes trying to manipulate them, so they had some built-in wariness. Radio, on the other hand, was brand new. It was a one-time investment. You didn't need to be literate, which many people weren't. You didn't need to go into this city to buy a new one every day. And more than anything, It was magical. Like, I have a hard time imagining how new and weird and wonderful it must have been to like listen to a charismatic person talk to me from 1,000 miles away, and what a spell that must have cast. And also to know that people all over my country.
For real though, imagine you are one of the first people ever to have that, like to hear that. Like you're just out, you got your new radio from the store, you hook it up, you turn up the volume and you open your windows so you can hear it while you're doing your like daily work outside. And you're listening to a guy tell you the news about the world through magic waves in the air in your countryside little shanty. While you get your, like, can you fucking imagine how crazy that was for the first people to receive it? Especially in rural areas who really didn't see or hear from people a lot and didn't know much about the outside world, just to get radio as a regularly, like, thing that they can just tune in. Man. Just generally, like, Wi-Fi, radio signals, and TV signals, that shit is like, if it's not something you are used to because you grew up with it, it must feel like magic. If it was something developed in your lifetime.
Country, we're hearing the same speech at the same time, and we're all there together experiencing it, millions of us. There were also in the beginning very few legal regulations on radio, and I think just as powerfully, if not more powerfully, there were no mental regulations. There were no norms. People's minds were just open to this, to have a person speaking to them. You might go and like watch a talk.
I'd still argue it was nowhere near as influential, wide-reaching, or Wild West-ish as, ironically, as the internet is. That's the thing. Like, this is so different, the times we're in now. I get the point he's making, but I just want to emphasize, the times we're in now are so much worse. The situation is arguably... I hope that people's brains can be healed. It's possible they can't be. It's possible that the average person has fallen in terms of, like, adherence to reality and truth.
Or a debate or something, but otherwise, the only people talked to were their friends. And this was a new way that strangers, powerful, charismatic strangers, could speak to you. For example, Father Coughlin, who was one of the first radio preachers, and he tapped into specifically this dissatisfaction. He connected with and empathized with normal, everyday, ordinary Americans. He spoke about elitist power structures, the banks, the inequality, and not all, but certainly some of the Jews. Atheistic Jews, communist Jews, millions of people.
He was a full-on Nazi. He was like one of the first big figures to push Nazism to the American people.
Listened to these broadcasts. He was an extraordinarily powerful figure in the US, and as Hitler rose to power in Germany, in part because he was also super savvy at using the radio to communicate with the common people of Germany, Father Coughlin spoke about him with great appreciation and interest. I'm simplifying a ton here, but there's something happening here. It is a post-media revolution rise in populism, and it happens.
Do you think it's possible that, like, as long as there are, like, bad people with narcissistic tendencies in our society, if there are ways and avenues to gain a lot of attention, they will be driven to do so at all costs. And to gain personal success and fulfillment, they will do anything. And those people, due to, like, their unmatchable drive and will, may always shine the brightest in any industry where reaching a large amount of people is necessary. Like, Andrew Tate's will always be the most popular. Logan Paul's will always be the most popular because narcissistic, soulless people like that who are willing to throw anyone under the bus to succeed will always reach the top in a landscape like this. So radio, printing press, TV, and of course the internet, the worst of the worst always rise to the top. Fox News, Father Coughlin, or whatever his name was, Alex Jones and Andrew Tate and Jake Paul, like, just the worst of the worst. When you give people the ability to reach millions, the worst of the worst rise to the top. Almost every time, it seems. And it's getting worse with the more people that one can reach. And with the internet, now it's at like a critical mass.
Pretty much every time there's a media revolution. But populism begins not as the ideology, but the market.
Yeah.
I'm seeing people get this wrong all over the place right now. Populism is...
If in the next 2 to 4 years we can destroy populism in America, I think democracy has a chance. Populism is cancer, and it needs to be, like, heavily radiated and chemotherapied in the coming years. That shit needs to die. Like fuck populism. It's how Trump won. No chance. I need it to go. I need it to go. I really do. I might just do a whole segment called like Populism is Cancer, where I just rant about like popular populist ideas and how far from reality they are, but how overwhelmingly like believable they are, and how many people already believe them, and how the right weaponizes those ideas to gain supporters.
Not an ideology, it's a marketing strategy. I see your real human problems, and I also see who...
Real. It is a fucking marketing strategy. Thank you. It is not an ideology. It is a method that ideologues use to propagandize to the people.
Who is causing them? All of the institutions that are impenetrable and imperfect, but also the people those institutions are secretly supporting at your expense, or controlled by to your detriment. And if you listen to me, we will solve all the problems with a number of new policies. But sometimes populism actually becomes the policy. It goes from being the message to being what we're going to do. Here are the bad guys. The policy is get rid of the bad guys. That's what happened with Father Coughlin. It's what happened with Nazi Germany. Father Coughlin actually started to advocate for the US to work with Nazi Germany. He was an extremely harsh critic of FDR. He began to say very Nazi-like things about what Americans should do to Jews. But as the tensions between the US and Germany rose, that became untenable, and the public and the government persuaded radio stations to stop carrying his broadcasts. Even though Coughlin remained popular, FDR basically said, no, this guy cannot talk to the American people anymore. This isn't print, it's radio.
He got canceled.
It's new, it's a limited public resource,
Literally.
It's a spectrum that we can't fit everything on, and this is one of the things we can't fit on it. And I think this was a fairly clear violation of the freedom of speech. Father Coughlin drifted into obscurity. He became a normal priest again. He died the year before.
Once again, I just don't believe freedom of speech as a, like, idea on its own is a good thing. Like, I think you have to make an argument for why freedom of speech is good for certain ideas. I think that the onus should be on some people for that, because good lord, this idea that, like, I don't care if this guy has rallied thousands to, like, murder people in the street with his rhetoric. He didn't directly tell them to do it. You can't take his show down. That's against his free speech. It's like, no, you know what? I think it's okay if we go against that guy's free speech, actually. Seriously, make an argument for why it's bad. That's not slippery slope. Make an argument for why that is bad.
Before I was born. So people are thinking probably right now, okay, so Trump is like the Coughlin of the internet age, or like the Hitler of the internet age. And like a little bit, like you can see it in there, like the alignment with people's legitimate grievances, the railing against every institution from public schools to doctors, the use of a new, somewhat magical,
The comparison is 100 billion% apt. Let's not even pretend it's not.
Regulated communications technology to name those threats and label who is responsible for them as the enemy. Trump is the product of a post-media revolution rise in populism. I don't think anyone would argue with that. That does not mean that he is the same guy as Coughlin or Hitler. But it is interesting that he is the product of a phenomenon that we have seen before. But also, he's not like these other guys in another way, because I don't think that radio is the best analogy for the internet. Radio and TV are centralizing, whereas the internet is decentralized. What do I mean?
Yes.
Well, to make a radio station, you need...
When I say that the internet is like the Wild West, this is what I mean. The internet is decentralized. It is basically just a network where billions of different things exist. And yeah, the decentralization is a massive aspect of what makes this so different. Reddit is relative. Yeah, I mean, obviously Reddit and YouTube being completely different, like, platforms that are completely under different control of different people and everything. Like, that's a good example. Obviously, there's always been different networks in the case of TV and even, like, broadcast stations when it comes to radio. But none of those have ever really allowed you to engage in the same way. You could call in, but that's not the same as posting on a subreddit or just making your own subreddit. Right?
Need advanced technology, lots of money, you need permission. It's very easy to regulate because there are only so many radio frequencies, and governments actually had to quite quickly move in and regulate who would have access to them, or stations would constantly be overlapping with each other, or the most powerful, wealthiest person could just take up the whole radio spectrum. Television has been the same. There were only so many channels, each tightly regulated. They're very expensive to run, and at the beginning, there was only space for 3 or 4 of them. This media revolution, because it was so centralizing, was a force that actually ended up being quite useful for bringing America and other countries together, reducing the number of voices that could be heard.
Ironically, yeah, the internet becoming more centralized, which it is actually becoming the problem, because using the decentralized era of the internet, the right gained a lot of cultural power and literal power through the election, for example, and now they're trying to lock it all down so that now that the need for a Wild West internet is gone, they want it to be fully centralized and controlled, and by them. So that Wild West is going away primarily because of the desires of the right. They don't need the internet to be Wild West free speech anymore. Those days are over. You're not going to see those people arguing for that anymore, even in the coming years, because that's not what they stand for, and it's not what their guy is going to be doing.
Heard, thus silencing many marginal perspectives. But eventually TV did start to fracture until we got multiple news channels from different perspectives. First, Fox News with its more right-wing nationalist perspectives, then MSNBC with a more progressive left-wing perspective. But even then, TV was a relatively centralizing force.
I think MSNBC just got bought out by a conservative, by the way. Their like viewership and subscriptions have dropped by over 80% in like, I think it was a week after. So MSNBC is probably cooked now. But yeah, we are seeing a massive, probably we're going to see a big die-off of like all the biggest progressive media outlets in the mainstream, as I'm pretty certain going forward, the only relevant progressive outlets of news are going to be independent and online going forward. Like all the TV outlets shifted right. Some of the online ones like TYT shifted right. If you're progressive, you're probably going to gravitate towards internet figures, and maybe that's what's needed for the left to genuinely counter the right in today's culture.
Because so much of it was available, and there were lots of rules and regulations that had built up over the years. The internet isn't like this. It is the opposite of this. But there has been another media revolution very much like this. The first one, the printing press. The movable type printing press, at least the version used in Europe, was invented by a guy named Johannes Gutenberg to solve the problem of every book in Europe being written by hand, which does seem like a difficult way to do things. For a long time after Gutenberg started making Bibles, no one really knew what to do with print technologies. Books were big and expensive, and there just wasn't that much demand for them. That demand was mostly soaked up by the most powerful institutions out there, which is largely the Catholic Church, the only church of note in Europe. But then a guy had an idea. He, like lots of other people, did not like how the dominant system was operating, and there had been many arguments about that over the years. But instead of just talking about it, he went to a printer and he said, hey, print me 105-page pamphlets. And that was way easier for the printer than making a whole book. It was cheap. The printing press was already there. All they needed was the paper and the ink. This guy's name was Martin Luther, and you might know him from one of the things he made, Lutheranism. People could pay just a little bit for a pamphlet like that, and you'd actually make quite a lot of money as a printer doing it. You could create an economy around that. Printers, in their off time, could just print up a bunch of Martin Luther's pamphlets and sell them themselves. Martin Luther.
Once again, though, not quite comparable to the hellscape of the internet, where the worst rise to the top. But yeah, to be fair, during the era of the printing press, there was a lot of like psychos who took advantage of it. Like, I remember there was this one religious fanatic guy who would jump from like religious commune to religious commune. There was like a Salmonella video about it or something that I watched. This is a long time ago, so I'm pulling from a deep cut memory here. But he was this like really deranged dude who wanted a polycule of wives, and he was like, I think a Giga Mormon too, but he would jump between like religious commune institutions trying to get like collect wives, and he would print out these pamphlets claiming that he's like godly or something. I don't remember his name, but dude was deranged. And there's definitely been individuals like that who've used, you know, the printing press even to gain some level of notoriety and prominence.
Luther, interestingly, just like everyone on Twitter, didn't actually make any money selling these pamphlets. It was the people with the presses who got paid, and Luther was just doing it because he wanted to get his message out. Familiar. And again, I have to try and get in touch with how weird this must have felt to the people at the time. Books were big and expensive, and for hundreds of years, the ideas of a normal person owning one would have been ludicrous. And so almost all of the people who were printing anything were really big, powerful institutions. But now there was this thing that was like a book, and it had ideas. Ideas that weren't the ideas of the powerful people who controlled the books. They were new ideas from a guy who wasn't particularly powerful. And the powerful people really didn't like these ideas. And it seems that Martin Luther realized that the more inflammatory his writing got, the more people wanted to buy the pamphlets, and the more printers wanted to print them. And to be fair, the institutions of the time were not undeserving of critique. Now, Martin Luther was not the only person who printed pamphlets like these, but he was very good at it. I didn't really understand this for the first couple of decades after knowing that Martin Luther existed and that the Reformation was a thing, but this guy was a social media influencer, and he was also not chill. He was a reckless guy. You might not be super surprised to hear this, but he hated Jews. During a peasant rebellion, which was in part actually inspired by his work, he called on landowners to just kill.
I swear to God, anti-Semitism is like the oldest and most common form of bigotry globally. It's in every every story of history that you can imagine, anti-Semitism plays a part in some way, shape, or form.
The peasants likening them to dogs that needed to be put down. Somewhere between 100,000 and 300,000 of them were killed. He called the Pope the Antichrist. He was not a chill guy with the rhetoric, is all I'm saying, though it should be said several times the Catholic Church in the 60s.
Misogyny is definitely pretty popular. I meant more towards like an other group. Right? Like, not necessarily like gender-based, but like, oh, this group we've othered and we discriminate against them as like different. From our like whiteness or our being Roman or whatever. I don't know. Go back like literally thousands of years, and it's still a thing.
16th century was worse. Just absolutely very bad. I don't feel like I necessarily need to get into it, but pretty evil. And also, in addition to being inflammatory, Martin Luther was an exceptional theologian. His arguments were good. That's part of the reason why he was so popular back then, and indeed remains fairly popular now. And again, there were at first, because it was also new, no regulations on this new form of media in law, and just as importantly, none in the minds of people. And there were regulations on calling the Pope the Antichrist, and Martin Luther was excommunicated, but he did manage to survive, which is amazing to me. Like, he lived. I would love someone to explain to me how he was not just killed. But when you like look at the...
That right there is where we're going to end that off. Holy shit. I would love for someone to explain to me how he was not just killed. Dude, you know people in like 200 years are going to ask that about like Andrew Tate, right? Like, how did someone not just kill him? You know? Like, we asked that about like Hitler and about like awful people in history. Like, how did someone not, like, but just know that in the future, people are going to ask that question of us, how one of us didn't just do that. Of, like, some awful person that's around today. It's inevitable. It will happen. People will wonder that. Many people did try with Hitler, though. Yeah, his own generals tried to kill him, famously. Which is hilarious, because Trump literally asked his top general at one point, or told his top general at one point, I should say, that he wants his generals to be just like Hitler's. And his top general tried to explain to him, no, Mr. Trump, Hitler's generals literally tried to kill him. You don't want that. And he was like, no, they didn't do that. No. They were very loyal. They loved him. They would do anything he said. He conquered nearly all of Europe with those generals. I want generals like that. I want those generals. I don't believe this fake news about them trying to kill Hitler. I want generals like that. Just get me generals like that. Just do what I asked. Do it. That's how I imagine it went. No. Don't feed me the fake news. I don't want to hear about this fake history news about Hitler's generals trying to kill him. Just get me my generals. I love your impression of Trump. I do my best, okay? I do my best. I'm working on it. It'll get good. We got 4 more years at least of Trump and me listening to him speak for me to refine my impression. The more I hear him talk, the better it gets. It's already really good, Zan. People tell me it's awful from time to time, so I think there's still a lot of work that needs to be done on it, personally. But, listen, I highly recommend you guys go check out Hank Green. His content is amazing, but I'm going to end that bit there because I don't want to just yoink his entire video, and I want to encourage you guys to go watch it as well. Dude, Hank Green is awesome, and I think his takes here are pretty good, and I think it's important that we look at this, like, escalating issue that humanity has had as far back as we have been able to communicate. That as we give ourselves the power to reach a larger audience, the worst possible people take advantage of it, and they do harm with that power. And we're still here today to talk about the issue, and so presumably we'll come back from this, but it's really scary to see the problem get this much worse with the advent of the internet and internet, like, influencers and content creators and propagandists, and to think that we might be running out of time. Like, climate change is looming. It's here, actually. It's not looming, it's here. And a large amount of people have been convinced by populists that climate change is a Chinese conspiracy theory that they need to fight against any attempt to stop. Any attempt to stop climate change is an attack on you, is the messaging the right pushes to the American people. It's very different from the simple denial of the past. It's an outright aversion and a rallying to fight against the prevention of further damage by climate change. We're in a deep hole right now we got to climb ourselves out of before we can even talk about building to something new. It's a rough situation, but don't doomer. Don't doomer. We just have a lot of work to do. And if anything, that should be motivating. If that doesn't motivate you, then you're in the wrong mindset. You should work on that. Get into the right mindset. I'm doomering. Do not doomer, Grimwolf. You need to be motivated. You are cringe if you doomer, and you should feel ashamed of yourself if you doomer. Anyway, with all that said, if you enjoyed this segment, please consider leaving a like, subscribe, ring the bell icon, and comment if you want to see more from me and help the channel. All these things really do help a ton, forcing YouTube to push my content and the algorithm to a larger audience, so I really do appreciate it to all of you who do that. And of course, if you want to see more from me on other platforms, you can follow my social medias that are linked down below in the description, including joining my fan Discord, which is the main hub of my community and fan base if you don't want to miss anything like watch parties, call-in streams, and gaming events. And finally, if you want to support me directly financially and help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head, then consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or supporting me financially through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buying merch through the Streamlabs link down below if you want to get yourself some Xander merch, because that does exist, by the way. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a good one. Why do I hear the Attack on Titan Season 4 theme? Which one? Because the Season 4 has 2 different themes. It's broken up in 2. A lot of Christians still act self-righteous and hostile towards non-religious folks as if something is wrong with them if they aren't a Christian. That is very common, yes. They are like that. Chuds be chuddin', that's for sure. Mewing Zan when? I can't mew when I've got a beard on. I gotta shave this. Y'all can't see the lines. Mark off that topic. Nice. Alright, guys. Before I get to our last topic for today, I need to quickly run and use the restroom and empty my bladder. And then, boy do I have a good one for you guys. I've got some things to rant about. It's good news, but it's also news I want to rant about, if that makes sense. So I hope you guys stick around until I get back so you guys can see what I have to discuss. I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. All right. I have returned. And I've used the restroom. I feel much better now. Good to see all of you guys. I'm actually thinking, I was thinking this while I was using the bathroom, but now I'm back, so I'm going to express this. I'm thinking what I might end up doing after, or I guess when stream ends today, is hosting someone. I'm going to check and see, particularly, like, I've been wanting to host some of the content creators I watched growing up that are still, like, making content to this day. A lot of them, no offense, but a lot of them do pull less viewers than I do when they stream. And I would love to host some of them. So I'm going to see if any of those creators are live when I'm wrapping stream up today. I'm going to raid one of them. I feel like that would go hard. We got a lot of people here today. I think it'd be cool if a bunch of them went in and, you know, said nice things and dropped some support on one of the streamers of my choosing. Of course, I'll be streaming just random people, or not streaming, you know, hosting other lefty figures and stuff too. I've just been wanting to do that for a while. So I figured today is a good day. YouTube has hosts and raids. My website does. First official Zan raid, Pog. I've raided and hosted many content creators in the past, Gun and Ballad. It would not be the first. I just haven't done it in a hot minute. I've just been distracted from it whenever I wrap up my streams. I keep forgetting. But today, I'm going to make it a point to remember. I've said it out loud, and so I won't forget. Anyway, Kaiser Drew 75, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate that. Very kind of you. You're so based in Pog for it. Said, we need to have more lefty cooking channels, especially with soon-to-be rising grocery costs. Teach people how to cook cheap, nutritional meals. That would be good content, honestly. Maybe one day I'll expand to Xander Hall Gaming, Xander Hall Cooking, and all that, and we'll have, like, constant uploads on a variety of different channels focused on different niches with a bent of progressive politics. That could go pretty hard. Thank you for the $5, Kaiser Drew 75. I appreciate it. Pink Penny, thank you for the tier 1 sub. I really appreciate that. Assuming it's a 1-monther, thank you for the $5. Says, just finished making my first Thanksgiving dinner on my own. Hell yeah, congrats. Said, decided to sub for the blue name and to update my username, Smile. Oh, hell yeah. Thank you for the sub. I hope you enjoy your username and your blue name, of course. Welcome to the No Longer White Club. Thank you so much. And then Scapegoat, thank you for the $5 donation. I really appreciate it. It says, going to Seattle soon to visit a friend. Any places you recommend stopping by while I'm there? I highly recommend that you go walk along the pier in, like, near Fisherman's Wharf. And just all that, like, what's it called? Where, like, the Seattle Aquarium is. Like, I've just walked that area multiple times. I've eaten a lot of the food there. And it's really good. There's also these giant fucking seagulls. And if you've got some fries, they will eat them out of your hand. I highly recommend you bring some hand sanitizer, though. You don't want to get bird flu or something. Pike Place. Yeah, not Fisherman's Wharf. I think that's like in California, maybe. Pike's Place, yes. I've been there a few times. It's pretty nice. I've never seen them do the fish tossing, though. I always got there late in the afternoon. Apparently, you have to be there in the morning to see the fish tossing at Pike's Place Market. Have you been to the Ye Olde Curiosity Shop? I haven't, but I've been to the Gum Wall. Let me show you guys the Gum Wall. Seattle Gum Wall. Yeah, there it is. It's exactly what you think it is, chat. Oh, that's a good image. This one has stalactites. It is exactly what you think it is. Who's been to the Gum Wall? It's worse than I remember. They clean it intermittently too. They get rid of almost all of it regularly, and it piles back up fast. People make a thing of it to every day, like on their way home or something, to stick some more gum on that wall. And it's a tourist thing, so tourists are constantly going and doing it every day. It's like an SCP. It is kind of like an SCP. Asmongold's wall. Real. Alright. Thank you for the $5, Scapegoat. I appreciate it. Go to the Seattle Aquarium. It goes hard. They've got seals there, dude. Let me see if I can find a video of the seals. I didn't even go into the aquarium, but I was able to watch them from the boardwalk because you could get an angle on them. If you crank your head a little bit over the water, it was not comfortable, but I was able to see them without paying. Seattle Aquarium seals. Oh, they've got a live cam of the sea otters and seals? Well, it's nighttime, so you can't see shit. Okay, they got an official video telling us to meet Casey the harbor seal.
Hi everyone, my name is Kelly and I use she, her pronouns. I am the Harbor Seal Program Lead here at the Seattle Aquarium, and I'd like to introduce you to our newest resident, Casey.
I will say, besides Palm Springs, Seattle is definitely the gayest place I've been to. It does not surprise me the Seattle Aquarium's YouTube videos have like pronoun announcements at the start. Because good God, it is woke here, guys. It's W-O-K-E capital letters woke here.
Casey is going to be turning 8 years old here on May 25th, and he joined us here at the Seattle Aquarium just a few months ago. Before he joined us, he had very limited training, and so we are getting him used to our training regimen here at the Seattle Aquarium. We train mainly to keep an eye on our harbor seals for medical reasons, to make sure that they're feeling okay. So he's starting to learn how to come up onto the deck, how to target onto a little buoy so that we can look at his eyes, his face.
I love the way they move. When they bounce, I cannot stop myself from laughing. Dude, I once went to this cliffside in California where there was like hundreds of elephant seals down below, and just watching them hop around the way they do, I was laughing uncontrollably for roughly 10 minutes straight because I couldn't stop laughing hysterically at the way they move. It just tickles me pink.
And also his entire body to make sure he's doing okay, and he's doing really well with that training right now. Another fun fact about Casey is that he really likes enrichment items. He really likes grabbing them from the deck and pulling them under the deck and kind of storing them under there, where he really likes to hang out under that deck.
Me. They're like dogs.
So we hope that you come down and visit.
They're like dogs. They like to play. That's so funny. I love that little creature. I love that little creature. Gun Invalid, thank you for the $5 super chat. Said, chat, is Asmongold part of the Brain Rot cinematic universe? Yes, he is, actually. Dude, I will say, whenever I feel like I've got a lot of, like, chores to do on my cleaning day, which is Wednesday, by the way. I clean my house on Wednesdays. I always, like, get myself motivated by watching this. It reminds me of how little I have to complain about in regards to cleaning for the week. Where is it? Where is it? Oh yeah, here it is.
So
Asmongold cleans his room on stream. This is it, dude. This is, yeah, guys. Mold warning. Mold warning, guys.
So, as you can see, we've got ourselves a little bit of a problem. I have not cleaned this ever since the game came out.
What Classic WoW will do to a motherfucker, by the way. If you're not careful, Classic WoW will do this to you. I had to make sure that I was going upstairs to drop off my monster cans in the trash once a day. It actually says make Azeroth great again, not make America great again. But yeah, he is a chud, but not back then. The hat is a WoW. It's a WoW thing. Azeroth is the planet in WoW. But yeah.
Today that changes.
Yeah, see? Make Azeroth. A-Z, not A-M. That's a Z.
Today, we clean it. Keep the webcam right here. Quesadilla.
Quesadilla.
All those fucking things away. All right, next bag. Let's go with this one. This one right here. This is from today. I'm gonna throw this one away as well. I don't need it anymore. I'm done with it. Okay, let's see what we got the rest of these. Steak and Shake was absolutely delicious. I went there last night. Next one, we got double drinks. There we go. And let's see, we got 2 of these over here. These are 2 bags of Taco Cabana. Taco Cabana is one of the only places that's open 24 hours a day. That's why I go there. Got my drink right here. And let's go ahead, before we get into the rest of this, the meat of this. The meat of this right here. I want to get all the...
Listen, you can shit talk Asmongold as much as you want, but do you not feel like cleaning your room right now? Hell, your whole house? Like, you watch this for 5 minutes and you just feel like you should get up and clean, no matter how clean your house already is. This shit is pure motivation, alright? As someone with ADHD, this shit is magic for me, okay? It instantly puts me in the mood for cleaning, and I'm just ready for chores day. That's the link. I'm amazed by his metabolism because of how much fast food he eats. He's got a ridiculously fast metabolism. He's skinny as a fucking skeleton, eats a lot of fast food. I've got a very fast metabolism too, but I feel like if I ate as much fast food as him, I would definitely get a little chunky. Just a little bit of chunk. At least I'd get less weird comments about people, like from people telling me they think I'm dying because I lost weight from COVID. Like, I'm not even at an unhealthy weight right now anymore, but people still send me DMs that, like, I'm dying and they're praying for me and shit like that. It's like, dude, now I get why those celebrities complain about, like, body shaming. Not in, like, the people outright, like, insulting you, but just, like, speculating on your health because of your body. It's so fucking weird, dude. Like, it's something you don't even put thought into, but then you see people, like, speculating about it and obsessing over it, or, like, contacting you privately about it, and you're just like, what? What? Have these people never seen a twink in their lives? No, I need to invoke twink death, like, immediately. I need to grow out the beard, I need to shave my head, I need to put on pounds, and I need to kill the twink within me. Full twink death. It's happening, guys. Get used to it. Sorry. Sorry. Aw, yeah, sorry, guys. Unfortunate. But twink death must happen. I must become twunk. Anyway, Andrew Zagola, thank you for the $5. I really appreciate it. Very kind of you. Says, I recommend to check out this video called Halo Reach Gen Alpha Brain Rot. It had me rolling. Maybe some other time, like, link it tomorrow and say you donated it, and I will. But right now, I will say, I gotta end the stream relatively soon, so I've got time to make myself my tilapia dinner. You know, it's getting late. I got one topic left for today, so let me bring that shit the fuck up. Time to quit fucking around. Oh, someone recommended a shit on head video. Do 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 do. Scrolling, 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 scrolling. Scrolling. Oh, there it is. Let's go!
I just spoke with the Prime.
All right, guys. Why'd the music stop? Cringe! Bring it back. There we go. That's what we needed. Y'all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. I need you to understand that being a Democrat has been difficult over the last 4 years. Not just being a Democrat, but one that actually follows politics. Not like the average Hassan fan who, like, watches a streamer or two, but actually keeps up with the news and tries to be as informed as possible. Especially about the current administration and what they're up to. It has been absurdly frustrating to be in that position for the last 4 years. I have done my best to... Around 6 months into Biden's administration, I started to realize that he was not only keeping a lot of his promises, but, like, overperforming the expectations I had for him. Because I have to admit, I did not like Biden before he took office. I was willing to ride with him, riding with Biden, but begrudgingly, right? But then he took office. And I proceeded to read, day by day, if I could find enough articles covering it, some of the most radical progressive change and great economic policy that has led to record low unemployment and a exponentially healing economy through his presidency. I watched it go down. Hell, just look up U.S. GDP growth year by year chart. And you can track who took office when the economy started to heal and who was in office towards the end of their presidency when the economy took a nosedive. That shit is very obvious. It's very available to you. You can just Google these things and find it immediately. And despite that, I found myself very frustrated by the fact that everybody wanted an excuse to attack Biden. For a while, it was just the idea that Biden was old. That was all it was for a while. Then eventually it was the idea that Biden wasn't pro this or that enough. And usually that was complete bullshit in the first place. And then they got something solid. The US has always supported Israel and will likely always do so. And Israel, during Biden's presidency, due to in response to Hamas, like it wasn't completely unprompted, but it was definitely overreaching and an overreaction, I guess. Israel and the IDF declared war. I think it already... Did they officially declare war on Hamas then after October 7th, or was it already established? I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and ban you, Grimwolf, because you posted nothing but cringe in chat today. Nothing that on its own is bannable, but enough, like, non-stop cringe for long enough that you haven't proven to me that you could post anything that's not cringe. And so I feel like that earns a ban. Sorry, buddy. No hate. No, it's not personal, kid. Nothing personal, kid. They declared war on Gaza? Maybe that's what I'm getting confused with declaring war on Hamas, is that they declared war on Gaza as a whole. Anyway, Israel, or I should say the IDF, then proceeds to do countless, like, killings upon civilians throughout, like, Israel, or throughout, like, Gaza, Lebanon, etc., etc. Tensions escalate with, like, Hezbollah, the Houthis. All throughout Biden's presidency, tensions are just rising in this part of the world. And Biden, all the while, is desperately proposing ceasefire after peace agreement after ceasefire after treaty, just trying constantly. I think there's been over 100 now ceasefires presented by Biden. I know last I checked it was getting close to 40, and that was a year ago. So it's been a hot minute. And I wonder how many there have been at this point. So you wonder, why would they not accept, right? Like, why would neither side in many cases accept, or at least for any amount of time? Well, we found out not too long ago that Donald Trump, who has hosted Netanyahu at Mar-a-Lago and who is personal friends with the president of Israel, Netanyahu, who, to be clear, Netanyahu is like the face of the Israeli nationalist movement, the people who want to continue the settlement building and expansion of Israel into Palestinian territory, who want to continue with military operations, allowing for the death of like Palestinian civilians. That Netanyahu is the face of that, okay? And he is personal friends, or Netanyahu is how it's pronounced, my bad. Netanyahu is personal friends with Trump and is the face of that entire movement within Israel and is the president, okay? As we know, Trump personally asked Netanyahu not to accept any peace agreement or ceasefire proposal during Biden's presidency, or at least until Trump wins. You need to understand that for a long time, both left and right have always been pushed away from the sitting incumbent president by any involvement in war by the US for a prolonged period. And that is what our support of Israel has been seen as for a lot of progressives. And a fair amount of lefties did not come out to vote for Kamala because they had been eating all of the propaganda about how Biden is a genocider for the last 2 years. And even if those same people claimed you should vote for Kamala anyway, or you should have voted for Biden anyway, they still spent years calling him a Genocide Joe, right? Genocide Joe, Genocide Joe. Well, now, weeks after Trump has been announced the next president, who'da thunk it? Netanyahu and Hezbollah finally accept ceasefire agreement from Biden. They don't need a constant war anymore to make sure that that Dems stay out of power. So peace in the world can now be restored. There is no need for our enemies or for right-wing interests globally to push for war. Now that Trump has taken office, it's time to give him the easy road as much as they can. The question is Putin going to play as nice with Trump as Netanyahu does? I don't know. Let's go ahead and see this story about it, though. It's good news regardless. President Biden announces Israel and Hezbollah have agreed to U.S.-brokered ceasefire. That means Biden-brokered ceasefire, by the way.
Prime Minister of Israel and Lebanon, I'm pleased to announce that their governments have accepted the United States proposal to end the devastating conflict between Israel and Hezbollah. I want to thank President Macron of France for his partnership in reaching this moment. For nearly 14 months, a deadly conflict raged across the border that separates Israel and Lebanon. A conflict that began the day after the October 7th.
Man, Biden's brain is melting. Look at that. His fucking eye's been closed for like 2 minutes. Not really. It's been like 10 seconds, but like still. He's like slurring his words a lot here. Man, I still think we probably should have run Biden. But at the same time, I think we should have run Kamala as his VP again. And then we should have waited for Biden to die in his second term, probably. And then just have Kamala Harris take his place for the rest of the term. I genuinely think that probably would have been more likely. Something that I think a lot of you guys have not accounted for as well is how many people saw what the Democratic Party did by ousting Joe Biden, who won the primary, and putting his VP in place as the nominee, as undemocratic. The two highest ranking issues on the ballot in this election were the economy, followed by democracy. And we interpreted that democracy point as favoring Kamala Harris because we got to protect democracy was such a talking point of the Dem Party against Trump. But a lot of people saw what the DNC did in ousting elected Biden for an unelected nominee. Both Democrat, centrist, and Republicans saw that as blatantly undemocratic. And so people likely to vote with democracy as a high ranking issue, which it was number 2 for most Americans apparently, that would imply that like that alone might have hurt Kamala Harris's chances substantially. It's not that like Harris would have done better than Biden, but the way that Harris was put into power, put into the nomination, both A, 100 days out from the election with barely any time to campaign, and B, in a way that was not democratic. You can blame Biden if you want to, because he could have stepped down and not run, but he still won the primary, right? Like, he was still popular enough to do so. So I feel like it would have been dumb for, like, in hindsight, for him not to do that, right? I don't know. I am still, to this day, I am going to be a Biden defender forever now. I have my criticisms of him, don't get me wrong, but most of the takes he has that I don't like were never acted on. Guns, for example. Biden, I don't think, passed any anti-gun legislation at any point. I think he actually ended up technically, like, under his administration, the bump stock ban was undone, if I'm not mistaken. So, like, Trump was the one who actually passed anti-gun laws. Biden never did. So most of the issues where I find that I disagree with Biden or most Democrats were never touched in his presidency. I have nothing, like, I have some things, but nothing super serious to complain about. Overall, I can comfortably say Biden was the best president of my lifetime.
An attack by Hamas on Israel. Hours later, at 2 a.m. in the morning, Hezbollah and other terrorist organizations backed by Iran attacked Israel in support of Hamas. Let's be clear. Israel did not launch this war. The Lebanese people did not seek that war either, nor did the United States. Over the past year, including in the days immediately following October the 7th, I directed the U.S. military to flow assets and capabilities into the region, including aircraft carriers, fighter squadrons, and sophisticated air defense battery to defend Israel and deter our common enemy.
That's not just to defend Israel, by the way, as cringe as all that probably sounds to most of you. A lot of these groups are attacking world trade, like in the region, and a lot of ships have been getting like besieged, attacked, struck, that kind of thing. And so we're also putting a force there specifically to protect the trade that these groups are attacking, not even because it hurts Israel, but because it hurts like all the interests that they're against, which is most of the world at this point. I think Biden and Bernie are both remnants of former FDR Democrats, something we need more of. I don't know. I think we need more, like, we need something new, but I definitely don't hate it, you know? Like, I think it's an old era of progressivism, but, you know, there's a new one taking the stage, I think. Say what you want about Israel, a lot of our enemies are also ours. They are. The groups that want to take down Israel want to destroy America. There is a reason why we are allied with them so closely.
At critical moments. Since the war with Hezbollah began, over 70,000 Israelis have been forced to live as refugees in their own country, helplessly watching their homes, their businesses, their communities as they're bombarded and...
No, cut the feed. You can't show Biden talking about the plight of the civilians. You can't. He's supposed to be Genocide Joe, goddammit. Cut the feed.
Destroyed. And over 300,000 Lebanese people have also been forced to live as refugees in their own country. In a war imposed on them by Hezbollah. All told, this has been the deadliest conflict between Israel and Hezbollah in decades. How many of Hezbollah's senior leaders are dead, including its longtime leader, Nasrallah? And Israel has destroyed Hezbollah's terrorist infrastructure in southern Lebanon as well, including miles of sophisticated tunnels, which were prepared for an October 7-style terrorist attack in northern Israel.
I need to see Joe Biden on an upper at some point in my life, okay? I need to see what Biden can say and do when he's on an upper and he's not, like, melting. I love him, but he's melting, guys. He's melting hard here. His brain has been sundered. I mean, he's still with it, like, mentally, but he's not with it enough to, I think, be a compelling speaker and figure. I also don't know how long he's got left. I think he could realistically live like another 5 to 10 years, totally, but man, I don't know if it's going to be a comfortable 5 to 10 years, you know what I'm saying? I feel like he's entering his late life now. But God, it's rough. It's rough, and you got to remember, like, Trump is not much younger than this guy.
But lasting security for the people of Israel and Lebanon cannot be achieved only on the battlefield. And that's why I directed my team to work with the governments of Israel and Lebanon to forge a ceasefire, to bring a conflict between Israel and Hezbollah
to be clear, he's been doing this since the conflict started. He has been doing this incessantly and constantly. Do not be, like, fooled by anyone who claims that he's Genocide Joe or whatever. He has been fighting for this constantly. Israel, in some cases Hamas, Hezbollah, they will not agree to ceasefires or peace agreements. They particularly Israel won't, because Trump personally requested Netanyahu not take any peace agreement from Biden or while Biden is president or until Trump has been elected, because they need this to continue making the current administration look bad to all Americans that are concerned about foreign wars and foreign spending. I actually have had lefties rage deny this. Like, there are progressives out there so attached to hating Biden that I've gotten comments from lefties arguing that Trump and Netanyahu are not friends. Trump has had Netanyahu at Mar-a-Lago numerous times. They've had dinner together at his personal Florida estate. Like, he made that personal request of Netanyahu that has been held up until just after Trump's win has been announced and locked in.
It will close. Under the deal reached today, effective at 4 a.m. tomorrow local time, the fighting across the Lebanese-Israeli border will end. Will end. This is designed to be a permanent cessation of hostilities. What is left of Hezbollah and other terrorist organizations will not be allowed, well, I emphasize, will not be allowed to threaten the security of Israel again. Over the next 60 days, the Lebanese army...
By the way, it speaks volumes to Biden's integrity that he's leaving office and yet still heading these things. He's still trying to end this conflict. It seems like at this point, he's just like, you know what? With what time I've got left in office, I'm going to do as much good as I can. And that really demonstrates his integrity. After getting fucked over by the DNC, ousted from his hard-earned and elected to nomination, to like being nonstop defaced and denigrated by every outlet and direction through his presidency. Now he's not even running anymore. He's got no reason to really cement his legacy as a good one anymore. Like, he doesn't need to, and yet he's still trying to do as much good as possible before he leaves office. I think it speaks volumes.
And state security forces will deploy and take control of their own territory once again. Hezbollah terrorist infrastructure in southern Lebanon will not be allowed to be rebuilt. And over the next 60 days, Israel will gradually withdraw its remaining forces. And civilians on both sides will...
True, it would be based if Biden just gave Ukraine like 12 nukes and said, have fun. Have fun, guys. Do whatever you want with these. We don't care.
Soon be able to safely return to their communities.
We got to give it to them in secret. There can't be any paper trail. Russia can't find out they're from us. It just has to be like Ukraine says, oh, we've got our own nuclear program now. We have 12 nukes we have unveiled. Want to fuck with us, Putin?
And to rebuild their homes, their schools, their farms, their businesses, and their very lives. We're determined.
Oh yeah, they just happen to be as sophisticated as American nukes. Yeah, real scary how we can do that now, huh? Yeah, y'all should fuck off. That would be great. I hope Biden does this. I hope he is currently having like a top secret SEAL Team 6 under the ocean like minecart rail built to send in total stealth these 12 nukes across the planet over to Zelensky. Where a top secret Ukrainian like special forces team is going to be there to extract and collect and bring the nukes to a secure site for possible future use. Come on, Biden. Come on, Dark Brandon. It's time to awaken.
This conflict will not be just another cycle of violence. And so the United States, with the full support of France and our other allies, has pledged to work with Israel and Lebanon to ensure that this arrangement is fully implemented. The agreement totally implemented. You know, there will be no U.S. troops deployed in southern Lebanon. This is consistent with my commitment to the American people to not put U.S. troops in combat in this conflict.
Dude, imagine the second he gets out of office, all of his speaking engagements are super awake and alert, and we find out that Joe Biden was getting on average 4 hours of sleep every night for the last 4 years because he was working so hard to do so much as How bad would you feel about all the Sleepy Joe and old comments if he's just a spring chicken like a week after he leaves office and he's just like, yeah, guys, you know I was only getting 4 hours of sleep every night. Ah, man, it feels so good to get a full 8 hours again. I will literally cry if that ends up happening. They won't care. I'll care. That's all that matters.
Instead, we, along with France and others, will provide the necessary assistance to make sure this deal is implemented fully and effectively. Let me be clear. If Hezbollah or anyone else breaks the deal and poses a direct threat to Israel, then Israel retains the right to self-defense, consistent with international law. Just like any country, when facing a terrorist group pledged to that country's destruction.
Basically, of course, like always, this is a temporary peace. This region is going to be embroiled in conflict for our lifetimes, likely. But we'll probably have months or maybe a couple years of relative quietness. between Lebanon and Israel. And maybe following, we might see some relative quietness in Gaza in regards to conflict between Hamas and the IDF. The deal has already been broken. Is conflict going to wind back up? I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense that it would break, like, immediately. Is this breaking news? Can't click. Yeah, it is. Holy shit. Israel and Hezbollah trade accusations of ceasefire violations. Come on, guys. The Israeli military said its Air Force struck a facility used by Hezbollah to store mid-range rockets in southern Lebanon on Thursday, after both sides accused each other of breaching a ceasefire that aims to halt over a year of fighting. Israel said it also opened fire on Thursday towards what it called suspects, with vehicles arriving at several areas in the southern zone, saying it was a breach of the truce with Iran-backed armed group Hezbollah, which came into effect on Wednesday. Hezbollah lawmaker... Okay, I feel like these things should take, like, a few days, you know? Like a few days for everyone to just, like, settle down and get their weaponry stowed away so there's no misinterpretations made, you know? Yeah, just a few day grace period on it, just in case some shit pops off as things are calming down. You know, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. The Israeli enemy is attacking those returning to the border villages, Fadlallah told reporters, adding, "There are violations today by Israel, even in this form." I don't doubt that. The Lebanese army later accused Israel of violating the ceasefire several times on Wednesday and on Thursday. The exchange of accusations highlighted the fragility of the ceasefire, which was brokered by the U.S., states, and France to end the conflict, fought in parallel with the Gaza war. The truce lasted for 60 days in the hope of reaching a permanent cessation of hostilities. Israel's airstrike on Thursday was the first since the truce took effect on Wednesday morning. Lebanese security sources and the Al Jadid broadcaster said it took place near Bassaria, north of Litani River. The ceasefire deal stipulates that unauthorized military facilities south of the Litani River should be dismantled, but does not mention... Oh, cool, an ad popped up and blocked my view. But does not mention military facilities north of the river. Well, guys, we did it. We did it. Guys, we have a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah. We did it, and it's gone. Fuck. God damn it, dude. We ain't ever seeing world peace in our lifetimes, are we? Well, listen, you can't heap that on Biden. You can't heap that on Biden. Biden's doing his best. Man, bro cannot catch a break. He cannot catch a break, and frankly, neither can the civilians in Lebanon or Gaza. Shit. Here we go again. Anyway, guys, if you somehow enjoyed this segment, then please consider leaving a like and a comment. It really does help a ton, forcing YouTube to push my content and the algorithm to far more new viewers, and it really just means a ton to me. You know, now we're striving for the golden 1 million subscriber play button. That is going to be a long and hard-earned road, so consider helping me walk it by hitting that like button and leaving a comment. Subscribe to the bell icon too if you want to help as well, and follow my social medias linked down below in the description if you want to see more from me, especially my Blue Sky, which I'm getting a lot more active on these days, and of course, don't forget to join my fan Discord, where I host gaming events, call-in streams, and watch parties once a week, usually on Fridays. I think I'm doing it tomorrow, which happens to be Friday. It actually works out perfectly. So yeah, tomorrow is a good example of that because I do it every Friday. So I hope to see you guys there. We're gonna be watching the final 2 episodes of season 3 of From, and probably like 1 or 2 episodes of The Walking Dead as well. It's gonna be a grand old time. So I hope to see you all there. And of course, finally, if you haven't already, consider supporting me directly to help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio by donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or supporting me financially through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, StreamElements, Patreon, or even buying merch through the Streamlabs link down below if you want some. Regardless of how you support me, though, thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a good one. How'd you guys like that segment? I feel like it came out real good. Oh boy, guys. I hope you know that I am so excited for my Thanksgiving dinner tonight. When is 12 Days of Xanmas? Next year, and trust me, as upset as you guys might want to be for no Xanmas this year, and I understand, I'm upset about it too. I'm sad about it, but next year's Xanmas, oh boy, is it gonna be good. My goal is that I can put aside enough money to commission a Minecraft texture pack artist and a Minecraft modder to remake and update a very old mod that like 12 Days of Christmas is based on, and the texture pack I like to use with it to modern Minecraft. Whatever version we get sometime earlier in the year this year, because I want to start this project early. With 100k subs, a lot of people supporting the channel, and, you know, a bit more of a boost to the income that I'm hoping should be, you know, rising over the coming months of the channel growing so much, I am hoping that we will be able to pull that off, because that is my dream, dude. Oh, by the way, or Xander Hall, by the way, I meant to ask, would it be okay if I put out a post in the From subreddits inviting them to the watch party? I'll obviously tell them the server is a politics server, but I think it'd be fun to have a bunch more theorists in the watch party. Absolutely. When I made my post, a ton of people asked if they could have a link, and I never added one because I just didn't want to advertise, but people begged for it. So if you just, like, describe what we do and what it's all about. Although, no, it's probably not a good idea, Ride the Rails, considering the season's over, but when season 4 is going to start, that's a good time to do it, because we're going to be doing watch parties of it there when season 4 drops, and I feel like that is going to be a good time to advertise it, because there'll be a reason to actually join. Alrighty. Thank you all so much for your support today, guys. Let's see, who should I host? Let's see, is Fods live? Unfortunately, no. Nope. Man, no one's live right now. What the heck? Isn't Dylan Burns live? I'm not logged into Twitch right now, so I can't see my followers and who's live. You guys gotta tell me. Yeah, I guess Dylan Burns is live, so I'll host Dylan Burns. Dylan Burns. Hoggers. Oh yes. Hassan Slander
you know,
stream.
hire the likes of, you know, maybe Frank Luntz didn't personally involve himself in this one, but like people like Frank Luntz that would go in focus group and test different
Honestly, good choice. Dylan Burns is currently roasting Hassan, which means amazing choice. Honestly, let's fucking go, dude. Go send some support over on Dylan's stream. I'm going to be hosting him on my site, so go. You can click on his stream and you can go drop some kind words. Say I sent him. Say Zan host or Zan raid and a heart and leave some kind words. Drop some support. I do appreciate if you guys do that. It means a lot because I like to pass on the support you guys give me to other creators. It's fun. Feels nice. Let me go ahead and drop Dylan's thing here. Nice, nice. All right, guys. With all that said, thank you all so much for watching today. Y'all have been amazing and lovely, and I cannot wait to see you all again tomorrow, as I will be streaming tomorrow, and after stream we'll be doing a watch party of the last 2 episodes of Season 3 of From in my Discord, so make sure you join. Make sure you're ready for it. But until then, I will see you all later, and have a happy Thanksgiving, of course. I hope you guys fill yourselves with all sorts of yummy foods. But as always, have a good one. I love you all very much. And doo-doo fart.